Good evening. On a ride home from work last week, my crowded Canarsie bound L train looked like the typical hipster hodgepodge you'd expect on a Friday night. In one doorway, a young woman with weird, daisy like attachments to her headphones and sporting dyed blonde eyebrows read a book. A more affluent white throuple with a curly haired dog stood in the middle of the train car. Another woman proudly wore pronoun pins, while some clearly agitated trans identifying male with pink hair and a KN95 talked to his enabling, possibly trapped female friend. Like clockwork, the vast majority of riders in my subway car disembarked at Myrtle Wyckoff Avenue station, no doubt headed to the one part of the entire city that easily gets the middle of nowhere designation, Ridgewood. Those who are left heading to East New York and point south are mostly black and Hispanic. Makes sense. That night's L train looked like a car full of woke holdouts. Perhaps New York City these days is full of them. Perhaps I just saw more of these wokes because the L and the G trains seem to be the lines most infested by progressive coded, green haired weirdos in the entire system. An overall gloom seemed to fill the train car that night, which made sense considering the overall condition of the five boroughs and the subway system that connects four of them. Given the political makeup of much of the more affluent, whitest parts of the city, I can't help but wonder if much of this is because for the first time in years, leftists are now on the receiving end of the fear and anxiety they reveled in doling out during the Biden years. After all, we are 2 weeks into the second administration of the left's great Satan, President Donald J. Trump. From the stereotypical liberal voter to the hardcore card carrying leftist, a second Trump administration is something that was never supposed to happen. After all, Democrats and their familiars had possession of nearly every institution in the country. With the events of January 6th, 2021, and the death of St. George Floyd 6 months prior, Democrats seized the opportunity and established their great hegemon in earnest on January 20th. It has been personally difficult to put into words how absolutely diabolical the reign of terror that was the administration of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. We, the people, were promised a return to normal after the ravages of COVID. Instead, we got 2 more years of vaccine and mask mandates in blue states. Cops, firefighters, and paramedics who refused to comply with capricious vaccine mandates had their careers snatched away from them, while Biden personally threatened those still refusing to trust the science with winters of severe illness and death. The progressive pride flag, a monstrous banner that seemed to accidentally celebrate the infiltration of gay rights by the infiltration of gay whites by white male perverts in dresses at the expense of black and Hispanic women, flew over government buildings throughout the old man's presidency. Alejandro Mayorkas, Biden's director of Homeland Security, facilitated the invasion of an estimated 30 million illegal aliens into the United States. Together with the border czar that was then Vice President Kamala Harris, and in coordination with or coercion of Democrat mayors and governors, these migrants were bussed into major cities, given tens of thousands of dollars in hotel stays, gift cards, food, and asylum court dates plenty of years in the future. Biden's Secretary of Transportation was more interested in eradicating racism from New York's parkway systems than cleaning up sky darkening train derailments in East Palestine, Ohio. That is, when he wasn't relishing his role as the bright, young, progressive face of maternity leave in America, taking time off with his husband, Chasten, to spend time with the babies they just bought. The Democrats marched through the last 4 years perfectly secure in their moral superiority and taking pleasure in dealing out pain to all who were not in their big club. These people acted as if they were never again going to lose their political and institutional power over American society. After all, why should they listen to the people who elected them to their positions in the first place? They were the enlightened ones. They were the ones who went to the elite colleges and universities. They were the ones armed with the settled science of climate change. They were the ones with the sufficient amount of empathy to see the painful struggle of the mismatched soul and ensure that trans women, superior to those born as such, were allowed to thrive and receive what they'd never gotten by the complete and total reordering of American society, even and especially if those with mismatched souls were children. And now, as if by the hand of God himself, it was all swept away. Given the way people at the DNC leadership conference comported themselves yesterday and the intense, nigh demonic screeching at Trump's cabinet picks by Democrat senators at confirmation hearings the last 2 weeks, the Democrat Party are currently going through a period of nursing a collective narcissistic injury. The ultimate narcissistic injury, one might say. The garish, brutalist hegemony they built in honor of themselves and the equitable and inclusive society they tried to force into being, torn down brick by brick like it was nothing by their greatest enemy in less than 2 weeks. Title IX and Title VII restored to pre-Biden levels. The complete dismantling and banishment of the diversity, equity, and inclusion industrial complex from the halls of the federal government. The public-private partnerships Dems established with Facebook and Twitter, where these social media platforms were effectively deputized by the FBI to censor anyone they suspected of peddling misinformation, circumventing the First Amendment in a manner worthy of Mussolini's praise, gone. The egregious lawfare the Biden administration and their district attorney fellow travelers in Georgia and New York engaged in, gone. The Democratic Party is lost. Forever? Hard to say. But given the current mental and emotional dysregulation in themselves and their voters, and the new chairman and vice chair of the party elected yesterday, it's clear they have no idea how to move forward and have learned none of the lessons they should have in 2024. And so it falls to those of us who bear true faith and allegiance to our nation and the Constitution of the United States, that the tideless boat that is the Democratic Party be allowed to remain adrift, bereft of any power and prestige, until they repent of their sorceries and return to the first principles of the United States. God save our republic. Amen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you once again live from the County of Kings, the People's Republic of Brooklyn. It's I, Isaiah Carter, and I'm here with my guy, Nostra Chavez. No.
Very moving monologue there, Isaiah. Very well written, man.
Thank
Classic.
you. Thank you. It's so crazy because I thought about writing that like as I was riding home from the train, it was riding home on the train from work, and I wanted to write something and get the show, get things started, because like like I'm dead serious. The look on people's faces, as New York City is a fairly it's a pretty it's a very progressive town. And so to watch the expressions of some of these people as they're riding home or riding to wherever they're going, they literally looked as if their worlds had collapsed, like their world had fallen apart. Like I don't know what, like, I know you live in a different region, but like what, like, do you get that sense? Like do you get like this sense of drift from your leftist friends?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I mean, I haven't been around. I could see it in social media. Like even people I know personally, a lot of them like disappeared from social media. Actually, like deleted their accounts. Haven't even commented since Trump got elected.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of them haven't. Well, I don't know about a lot, but a number of them haven't. The ones who usually would, so that's significant. Some of them have deleted like their ex accounts, things like that. I think they're probably very confused, right? I think they're just super confused on what to do. They swore up and down that they were right, that they are on the right side of history. And I think they're just wondering, like, how could anybody vote for Trump? Trump is so terrible. He said all these mean things, did all these bad things. And they are just, I think they're also dealing with what I hope they realize is like that they've lost their institutional power in so many ways. And, at least in the media, like they own, they still run the legacy media for the most part, but the legacy media is dying a very quick death, I think now. CNN keeps on firing people. And the independent media is so emergent and so powerful, and I hope they put two and two together. Maybe older generations didn't, but I think like millennials and younger probably should know that's what happened. The Joe Rogans of the world, his podcast circle, Trigonometry, all these different people, the Free Press, like all these independent media agency or media groups or independent media. Really are just more influential, just much more influential. Even Fox News is much more influential than the rest of them too, because I think they still get decent ratings.
Well, I mean, Fox News always. I mean, I've like over the years, I've kind of like stayed out of discussions about like Fox News, and the reach that they have, because up until like a few years ago, they were the only game in town in terms of in terms of like what you could say mainstream media reach. But I guess now with Fox News and I would say Newsmax and a lot of other, like you said, a lot of these other independent media outlets, these guys are on the rise because, like, let's just be honest here. We have been lied to. The American people have been driven, by and large, to some type of mental illness. From all the lies, from all of the deception and panic that people, that the powers that run this world, put us through. I see that. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that here in New York. You still have people wearing masks, and you can always tell like who's, I guess, higher up in the belief center. You know what I mean? Like if they're wearing if they're older and wearing a surgical mask on the train, you could tell they still watch. It's safe to assume they've watched MSNBC. They watch MSNBC a lot. But if they're wearing like a KN95 or one of those other, fancy ones. It's, that they, like, you almost figured they've absolutely donated to they've donated to the DNC or some super PAC. Let's just say Act Blue is taking a lot of money out of their accounts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think these people are like I said, but people I've seen, and I'm sure it's more like in really progressive areas, you'll see it a lot more. Like, I think they're just kind of confused. A lot of them are scared probably because, well, one, they're believing their own media exaggerations and nonsense about like us being like the Nazis and fascists and stuff. But they're also, a lot of them probably work in those fields, like DEI fields. So, they're getting a little bit of taste of their own medicine of, let's just fire people because we disagree with them, and let's just because that's what they were doing for years, just kind of cancel everybody, or let's or learn to code. Too bad you got laid off. So now they're a lot of them are probably feeling it, and they're probably confused with what to do. They're not resonating with anybody. I don't think AOC is really resonating with anybody, even not even like the socialists really. So they got to be feeling it too, but they're just so delusional and in their bubble that that they refuse to accept feedback for the most part. What I've seen, they refuse to accept the feedback people have been giving them for 10 years, probably since like 2014, 15, when people started telling them, like when wokeness started going crazy and people started telling them like, hey, this is crazy. Hey, you stop trying to censor people. Stop trying to stifle free speech. There's only males and females, all that sort of thing, right? Maybe we shouldn't be obsessed with race all the time. So I think they're just they won't accept that, but reality's hitting them hard, and they're freezing. I think in a way, they're kind of like in freeze mode, or just in denial, as we saw in the DNC, and just continuing with the same unhinged horse shit and frivolousness in general.
I gotta say, has there, like, the Democratic Party are completely unhinged. I mean, I've got some stuff.
At least the leadership is, and I actually sent, just to say real quick, I sent stuff to some of my friends who are technically still, some of them are like still Democrat kind of, or vote Democrat for their own reasons. And I wouldn't put them in the same category. So there's plenty of Democrats who are still, in their right minds, but they don't see what we see. They believe their media, and maybe they have personal reasons. Like maybe they have immigrant family or something like that. Right. So they're concerned. But the leadership clearly, like you said, is fucking unhinged. I mean, like these are the leadership, the people on stage, and they're just sitting here saying ridiculous things, which we'll go through. And,
we got some greatest hits.
Yeah, still on. I'm not gonna give. Yeah, but still on that woke bullshit. Doing like a conga line or whatever the hell they're doing, and like when apparently Orange Hitler's in office, and
they were doing a Cupid shuffle.
Whatever. Yeah, and well, is this what we do when you're when the world's gonna end because Orange Hitler's in charge and the fascists took over? Like, is it serious or not? Because you guys aren't acting like it's serious. So.
Well, I mean,
which one is it?
The question is, like, when were they ever serious? I mean, the one thing that got me was just how quickly the left folded. Like, did you notice that also? Like, there was none of the expected election denial. There was none of the. There were no lawsuits. There were no.
No big protests really that I saw. I think recently we've seen them some. I don't know if there was that big. You've seen a couple parades online, which I think you put a post up about it, or no, maybe it was. Oh no, it was.
I remember. I posted. I
think you posted about like some Mexicans marching or something, and it was.
No,
I think it was Peter Feliciano. Peter, right?
I think I do.
Yeah, I think he's a comedian who says some outrageous, he's known for saying some outrageous shit, but he's got some good points sometimes too. And anyways, so Peter, I don't know if Peter's watching, but anyways, he was saying like he thinks it's like kind of like an Antifa thing where like, or people are like Soros or whoever's paying a lot of these people to come march. It's not really even like Mexicans really doing it, like legit organic stuff. A lot of these American citizens. And I think they were like, maybe they're saying like burning an American flag or something to make, maybe they're trying to start some sort of, violent backlash against them. So then it paints, oh my God, look at the fascists, look at the racists,
Yeah.
I think that's what he was trying to say. I didn't get to read the full thing, but so there's that going on, I guess. But to your original point, I haven't seen any real protests, people just went back to work, man. I think a lot of people, like we said before, I think a lot of people were just really, a lot of people were probably very relieved, even on the left. Like, I think they're just relieved. They're like, you know what? Just shut the fuck up, Democrats. Right. Like you guys were just so obnoxious, so useless. Imagine Kamala as president. Oh my God, that would have been tough.
I am so glad. That
would have been so tough.
First off, like how does my fiance say, kiss your brain, America, because we just dodged a fucking bullet. I will say this. I have never in my life been more convinced that the Democratic Party are full-blown Marxists. Like Kamala Harris as a candidate frightened the fuck out of me. I hate to say that, but I hate to say it like that, but if Biden,
Isaiah, I mean, let's. I want to say this. I mean, clearly you have some sort of deep-rooted white supremacy that you're harboring, and you just hate her because of the color of her skin and the fact that she's a woman. You must hate women as well.
Well,
why else? Of course, otherwise, of course, you would vote Kamala Harris.
Of course, yeah. What the fuck? You been talking to Barack Obama or something?
What did he say? What did he say to the brothers or whatever? What was his quote?
Yeah, he was standing around like these are your these are your mothers, and you got to let these people know that voting for Kamala Harris, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, then that just means you don't like the bitches.
Oh, please, Kamala Harris is your mother now,
But no. Hold a second. That is because since we're talking about that, that is a trope deployed by many black pro-Democrats.
Oh yeah.
Who, if they if you're a black man, right, and they know that you're not gonna vote for whatever candidate that that they want you to, that's when they start attacking your love of black women. Like if you love, they're like, you ain't got no sisters, you don't have no nieces, you ain't got no daughters.
Is my sister running for fucking president? Like, what are you talking about? It's not the same person. Like, what makes you think every single person of the same race is the same person, same quality? Are you gonna vote for Candace Owens, Democrat? Like, you know what I mean? Like what kind of dumb fucking logic is that? It's so stupid. It's like you don't vote based on identity, you dumb motherfuckers. Well, you don't vote based on group identity.
You don't.
You vote on values, on competence, character. You name it. Speech, communication skills. Kamala couldn't even fucking talk to people. She couldn't even answer questions on the fly.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Not without a lot of liquor.
Why you don't go on Joe Rogan? You don't go on fucking Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has like 10 million fucking viewers. If she went on Joe Rogan, she'd have like 30 million viewers probably, at least.
Yeah.
At least. So she'd be able to get her message out for 3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours with Joe or longer. And
3 hours unfiltered.
Prepare for it. Have the best possible argument since you're the one that should be president, right? And then just go on there and just tell millions upon millions of people why you'd be a better president, and you probably win. If you know how to do it, you'd probably fucking win if you knew how to do that. But she doesn't know how to do that because she doesn't have anything. She didn't have anything. It's not even about her. Most Democrats probably couldn't even do it, honestly, at this point. They don't know what the hell they stand for. They stand for diversity, number one. Diversity is number one all the time. Identity, group identity is number one. Gender. That's it. You're right.
I mean, what?
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Like I remember, remember when all of the hoopla was about, you need to be like, we need to have something like policy. We need to have something beyond not being Donald Trump, right? I remember when when guys like Eddie Glaude on MSNBC, who I affectionately refer to as Glaude the Fraud, he was one of those guys banging the policy desk. But the only policy these people have is diversity, equity, inclusion, keep voting Democrat. And somehow
ridiculous.
keep shuffling black folk to the same political party that basically that's thrown them overboard. I'm sorry, folks, brothers and sisters, fellow black people, listen to me. The Democratic Party don't give a fuck about you.
Does that include Rachel Dolezal, by the way? You talking to her too or not?
No, well, that one.
Don't make me break up your train of thought. I thought a little.
Yeah. Her and her and her OnlyFans account. She has an OnlyFans.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for her.
But no, it's like, listen, black folk, listen to me very carefully. Take it from somebody who voted Democrat. I voted. This is my voter track. I think we talked. I don't know if I've shared this before, but my voter track from 2008. 2008, voted for Obama. 2012, voted for Obama. 2016, I voted for Hillary Clinton. 2020, I voted for Biden. 2024, I voted for Trump because I realized way too late. Yeah. And before
you've been around the block a couple times.
Yeah, but before that, I voted for Bush 43. Okay. Because I said, I've been a registered Dem since 2009, and Obama was the first Democrat that I voted for, and Biden was the last one. So guess what? I'm done voting for that fucking party. But essentially, black people are a blob. We are a political blob to the Democratic Party. We are only motivated by one thing. Which is racism. Racism. That's the only thing that the Democratic Party thinks that black folk are motivated by. And unfortunately, and also they figure that's what gets black women. Black women are motivated by, to them, black women are motivated by ending racism, okay? Constant activism, their LGBTQIAP plus brothers and sisters, siblings. I'm sorry, there are no brothers and sisters in that world. And
hot sauce
in Louis Vuitton bags.
Yeah, hot sauce.
And also,
Hillary.
Yeah. She keep a cup of fucking collard greens in her bag too. Here you go, niggas. This way, yeah. Here you go. Want some collard greens? Bunch of fucking
Lord.
Listen, when the Democratic Party knew exactly what they were doing when they said that black women were the quote unquote backbone of the Democratic Party. And when you have nothing, and when that, and that's how I knew that even Democrat Party leadership saw black women as mules, okay, as their best mules, because this is how you end up. This is how you end up with that title. You ready? Let's take a look at this.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes, I am speaking.
Good evening, Democrats. Look up here. 3 strong black women standing before you. 3 black women who, rather than just grabbing a chair, ran for chair.
Te quiero mucho, Papa. Gracias por todo. My name is Artie Blanco, Freddie Blanco's daughter. Vote for me for vice chair.
Look at this room, y'all. Truly take it in. This is the Democratic Party. We are our strongest when we stand together.
We are in a time in this country when our democracy and our rights are under attack. We're at a time where black and brown people, women, and other minorities are being blamed for everything that's wrong with this country.
So let's fight together for a stronger.
I mean, I'm ready to blame y'all.
Democratic Party.
Good afternoon, DNC. Let me say something. Over the last several days, we've seen what happens when we have the wrong people in powerful places. And so today, I ask for your support in electing me as your DNC vice chair, because in a time of crisis, leadership matters.
My people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are sick.
That's all they got.
Shit drives me nuts, man. Like it's so cringe, man. And you know, you like, you know, like, oh, hey, we're strong black women and stuff. And it's like, you know, I don't understand why you think that's important. Like, we can see what you look like, you know, like, it's, you don't have to bring it up every time. It's like, if anybody, think about anybody else, and you know, they're not the only ones doing this. You know, I'm sure like Latino people are doing that too. But if like Latino people came up and be like, we're strong Latino people, you have to hear me. Or white people did that, we'd be going nuts. If white people are like, we're strong white people, everybody better listen to my voice. It's like, it's just so, it's so cringe. Like, how do you not see that that's cringe? You know, how do you not understand that? And it's like, who the hell is here for like this identity lecture? People in America want to know, how are you going to help us fix our problems that we have? We got a lot of problems. We got a lot of things to work on. What the hell does you being black have to do with it, or Latino, or white, or trans, or whatever? What does that do with it?
Because
at all?
I'll tell you what it does. I'll tell you. Because if you look at critical race theory, okay, one of the things that the critical race theory teaches is that it is not enough to simply be black, right? It is not enough to simply be a minority. You have to have like additional stuff. So if you're a black woman, that makes you more of a more important voice than a black man. If you are a black lesbian, if you're a gay black woman, then that puts you over top of the heterosexual black.
If you're a trans,
if you're a
fat trans black Muslim disabled woman,
right,
you're basically Jesus.
That's exactly right. No, I'm dead. I am
for these
dead.
people. I know that. No, I know that. It's intersectionality and critical race theory logic. I know that is actually true, and that's why it's so absurd. And then if you criticize like we are, people are going to say, oh my God, look how much this black man Isaiah and this Latino man Nostra Chavez hates black people. You know, yeah. And it's like, that's what you got out of this. That's what you got. We just hate people because of their skin color, or do we hate this logic where this is really even important? We're trying to live in a colorblind society, man, like Dr. King wanted to do. You know, that's I think pretty sure that's how I was raised. And honestly, just because ideas are new doesn't make them better. You know, all change is in progress.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a fact. Like they seem to think, we've been dealing with this for like the last 10 years, where they basically think like anything we come up with, you better accept it. Like not like them as in any particular race, but like woke people, woke Democrats, progressive Democrats, leftists. Any idea we come up with, you better freaking be on board because it's progress and it's great. And you're just like an old boomer racist person if you don't agree with it. It's like, so no. Not every stupid fucking idea that you come up with in the universities is a good idea. In fact, most of the ones you've been coming up with lately in the humanities department, sociology, these gender studies, critical race theory studies, all this bullshit have been extremely bad ideas, like throughout.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shut the fuck up.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, that right there. Actually, I think I like that one better.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that one better.
And that's America basically just told him to do that too. Like even with Trump, with all his flaws. I mean, Trump's got a lot of flaws, but America was still like, you know what? We'll take a chance with Trump again, like pretty easily, than over this horse shit. It's fucking absurd.
I am waiting, and I'm dead ass. That's the New Yorker in me. I am dead ass.
Dead ass.
2028. JD Vance, Byron Donalds. I am speaking that fucking ticket into existence right now.
That'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
Hey, JD, Vice President, Mr. Vice President, and BD, a congressman. Y'all better be working on this for 2028, okay? Byron Donalds, JD Vance. JD Vance, Byron Donalds, 2028, bulletproof fucking ticket. Count me on that, bro.
And make sure you do. By the way, make sure you guys do a good job this 4 years too. Don't fuck it up either.
Exactly.
You know, because we'll see how it goes. I mean, you guys also got to do your job. It's not like let's fuck around for 4 years because we won and because Joe Rogan's on our side or something. It's like, no, you do your fucking job. Prove why you guys are the better party. Prove, Trump should be looking, Trump's nearing the end of his life pretty much, man. He's almost 80. He's not in the greatest shape, even though he's still cooking. What's your legacy going to be, bro? Make another couple $1 billion fucking around? Or are you going to be a real patriot and really fucking do well for America? So far, I like what he's doing, but we got to be on top of our shit these next 4 years so you guys can win again and again, hopefully. Just keep on being that party.
Because
let these fucking clowns keep on being these dumb Democrat clowns. Hopefully I want the Democrats to do better too, so we can have better debates, better policy, better competition, pushing each other to be better. So far, I haven't, the Democrats haven't learned jack shit, if we're, based on what we're seeing in the DNC.
They've learned nothing. They have learned absolutely nothing. It is the most, I'm serious, and we're going to talk about this later. But before I go into anything, we've got 1,300 people and grow. We've got almost 1,400 people here watching us right now on X and on YouTube. I didn't set up Rumble. I was trying to set up Rumble to see how it would work. I do apologize that I did advertise that we were going to put it on Rumble, but this is incredible. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please follow us if you haven't already.
Leave some messages, guys. Follow us. Some
messages,
questions,
yes,
comments.
We will be offering So real quick, just to make because I know we've got 3 more minutes until our special guest comes here. Subscriptions will be available this week. Okay, I'm gonna turn subscriptions onto my page. You will be able to for those who subscribe. We will I want to if you are a subscriber to my page, you will be able to ask questions and have your questions read live on air during our broadcast. Okay. So that'll be just one of many things that we will be offering here. Again, we want to thank each and every one of you for stopping in and joining us. This is big. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Because I think we might have an issue. Hold on 1 second. You know what? I think we might have a. All right. So, anywho, let's see what else has been going on today. There's been a lot that's happened this week. Dems have learned absolutely nothing. I mean, they really are a tideless boat. I want to get your reaction to this real quick, because this is we've been talking about how Dems have learned absolutely nothing, right? They've learned all the wrong lessons of 2020 of the 2024 election, and you end up with shit like this.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome today.
I mean, I don't find it like I don't. To be fair, I don't find it so ridiculous when she's like on stage by herself, because that's what she was going to the podium, right? I think. But when she was like in the middle of like in that same event, and they're like introducing everybody in like a line, and she just like, I just want to say, starts singing a song, and it's just like, what is going on right now? Like,
yeah, you know what?
It's just bizarre. It's like nobody signed up to hear you sing right now. And just talk. Just tell us what you're gonna do. Why you should be. Because she wasn't she running for like DNC chair or something?
Yeah, she was like. Now imagine this, right? And again, like we're gonna talk about this a little bit with Evan, who will be here. She just needed just a little running a little bit behind.
Okay, I know what that's like, Evan. Don't worry.
Oh hell yeah. But to go through all of that, right? To have all the mules, singing and screaming and talking about, there's a black woman speaking and we here and all this. They elected not one, but two white guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't know who the other guy was. I know they got David Hogg, right?
David Hogg. Yeah. I call him. Yeah, that's Twiggy.
Sounds like a porn star's name, actually.
Yeah. No, that's Twiggy. That's Twiggy.
Yeah, it's Twiggy.
Bro, his arm's like this. Hold on. There, listen. That right there is one of David Hogg's arms. Okay.
Fucking kid, man.
Like I've never in my entire life seen a guy. How old is that fucking guy? Like, isn't he like 25, 26?
He's probably like 30 now, man. 30?
I
mean, when was? No, you're probably right. No, I bet you he's like 20s. I mean, look it up. He's probably 26 or something. When did that happen? Was it Florida?
Parkland? Parkland. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. He's probably like 26, 27. Let me see David Hogg.
Yeah.
You see how old this kid is. 24. You're right, bro. You're right.
24.
That's true. He was in high school.
What the fuck? Did he get injected? Did that fucking guy get injected with Lupron when he was a kid? Jesus Christ! Like his fucking arms are this big, and his feet are like he looks like a bad stick figure drawing, bro.
Yeah.
He looks. Oh God.
I don't know what they're trying to get out of him. I don't know why they think he's the guy for that job. I mean, honestly, to be fair,
because he's young,
probably anybody is better. Anybody deserves to be there than who they had before.
And
so
you know what? And
anybody's probably better than who was there before. So I guess there's that going for him.
And before I have to say this about. I have to make sure that I get this out. Fuck Jamie Harrison. Fuck Jamie Harrison.
I don't even know who that is.
Jamie Harrison is.
He's the new chair.
No. Former. He's the former DNC chair. He's the one who just left. The outgoing. I hate Jamie Harrison. Okay, that bald head fucker. I have had several. I've had a run in with him several years ago when I tried to talk, when I expressed my concerns to him about the party. That was what really, if you really want to know what finished the job in terms of driving me away from the Democratic Party, it was when Jamie Harrison fucking blocked me on Twitter when I was trying to tell him, like, yo, like, dude, you're going way too far to the left.
What a bitch.
And once, like, he got crossed up with like the K Hive, and well, you don't know who the K Hive is, do you?
Oh, I do. I think is that Kamala's? Is that Kamala's people? Like
Yeah,
Kamala's crew?
yeah. That's hers. That's hers.
Who are the? Is there like is it a small group or a big group?
They're tragically online. They're made up of a certain group of people. A couple of them are here in New York City. One in particular is like you want to talk about really trying to ruin my life. Accused me of something really bad when I simply asked, like I had asked to see her like for coffee or whatever, and she was like, "No, I'm fine. That's okay." I never brought it up again, right? Never brought it up again. And then when I left the Democratic Party, when I broke from the from the party, that's when she was like, "You know what? You're a creep. How dare you do this?"
Because you asked her to get a coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
But this is what they do. If you stray from the plantation, and I hate to use it, not like I hate to use that terminology, but like you have to, because the reaction that these people give you are, yes, this is a plantation. You cannot leave.
No, that's true. That's very true. They get very racist once a black guy especially like disagrees with them at all about anything or negates some of their woke shit, then they'll say very racist slurs to black people. I've seen. I know Adam's shared that. Adam Coleman. I've seen you share it before.
Hold on.
I think liberal racist. What's it called? Liberal racist.
Liberal,
on X?
Yeah. The chronicles of racist liberals. Yeah,
racist liberals. That's right. Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a lot of stuff, man.
Oh hell yeah. I'm gonna pull this up right here while we wait for Evan to come in. Yeah, I'm gonna put this here, right? A black, like he said, my biggest. So Adam Coleman, one of my dear friends, a great guy. Follow at Wrong Speak. He goes, he says, my biggest fans are always worried about me, even wondering what will happen to me in the afterlife. They're so considerate. Wow. Yeah. So here comes this. A black man, Deborah Bailey. A black man like you is a disgrace and worthless. I could never vomit enough knowing you exist on this planet. Blocking you and hoping that all the black pain and suffering that my people have gone through will speak against you, as well as all the white supremacist psychos you adulate. May the oceans of black blood that was spilled by white supremacist human traffickers, torturers, lynchers, and rapists and other white, and then it cuts off. And then Deborah goes, and then Adam, who again is a fucking wordsmith, he goes, I'm very curious, Deborah, I'm very curious as to how you could know construction of hell and the determination of my soul. Anyways, glad to have a new fan. God bless.
Yeah, that's the way to react to them, man. Like you don't take them too seriously. They're just trying to troll. They're trying to provoke.
Yeah.
And there's a lot worse than that too. Like with the slurs they use and stuff, and they call you Uncle Toms and all this shit.
It's hateful. It's
really,
really
it is
hateful.
True. It is 100% hateful. Like obviously the hate is just boiling in their bodies and through their words. You could just tell.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. And I am still, wait a minute. Where did that go? Hold on. I'm trying. Here we go. Hold on.
I'm just laughing to myself at how much Jamie Harrison looks like Tony Gwynn.
He sure does.
I was like, what
fucking does?
I was like, who was that baseball player back in the day? I was looking up like the top hitters. I know he was one of like the top batting average guys for a long time.
It was.
I found his name. I was like, oh yeah, Tony Gwynn. That's right. I was thinking
Kirby.
I was thinking Kirby Puckett at first, but now I was like, no, that's not him. It's not Kirby.
Yeah, there was no getting him out. Tony Gwynn. I remember watching him. I remember watching him when I was a kid. He's one of the greatest hitters of all time.
He's clutch. Yeah. He was consistent.
Rest in peace to Tony Gwynn.
Oh, he died. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh
Rest
yeah,
in
he
peace.
passed away. He passed away several years ago.
Shit, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I want to say he died in
I'll tell you right
2013.
now. I'll tell you right now. Let me see.
Yeah, look it up.
I already got him up. 2014, almost.
2014. Oh wow.
Yeah, 2014, June 16th.
Gone way too soon. He had
R.I.P.,
cancer,
brother.
no?
Oh, I don't
cancer.
know.
Yeah,
I'll look it
fuck,
up.
man. Well, either way, fuck cancer. Shout out to
Fuck
Tony
cancer.
Gwynn Jr., his son, who's been keeping that legacy alive. Ladies and gentlemen, we Evan is still joining us. Just waiting for to get to start up here. So we will be moving shortly. This has been a great couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know what but getting back to this whole to the relationship that Black people have with the left. There is something oh wait, she's here.
She's here.
She's here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to bring in a fellow apostate. There's a big, that's a big apostate. Someone who was committed to the Democratic Party until they left even her. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the lovely and talented Miss Evan Barker.
Hi, what an amazing introduction.
Hey, Evan.
Hi.
Hey!
Nice drum kit you got there.
Oh, thank you. I play music.
I do too.
Cool. What do you play?
Well, I used to sing. in a band.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Right, yeah.
So now the next time I have you on, you gotta do a drum solo. Nah, yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know how would that sound on the mic. I don't know. It'd probably be so loud.
It's hard to mic drums, actually. Yeah. When we record, we have to. I mean, we've never actually successfully even been able to do it because I'm not like a professional audio engineer or anything. But you have to get like 6 different mics or something for a drum kit.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You have to put them in different parts of the drums.
Yeah, it's very complicated stuff.
It is complicated. Yeah.
Well, welcome in, Evan. I am so glad to have you here with us. So you've been. I just recently saw you on Matt Gates's show.
Yeah.
Another that was actually pretty cool. I'm glad he's. It seems like he. Do you get the sense, just real quick? Do you get the sense from Evan from Matt Gaetz that he's just kind of glad to be like done with it all, like done with Congress?
I think for now he's enjoying downshifting is the vibe I get, but I don't think he's done. I don't think we've seen the last of Matt Gaetz in public life. But yeah, I think for now he's like, yes, this is great. I can just hang out, give my opinion, kick back. I mean, that was the vibe I got. I'm glad he's actually really good on TV too.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw that he did look pretty good on there. Yeah. So Evan, I know you've probably been asked these questions like a bunch of times.
No, it's good.
But so tell us about yourself. Tell us about your start in Democrat politics, and then what facilitated your move to the dark side, as it were.
Yeah, of course. So I started out in politics when I was very young. I look younger than I actually am. I'm actually in my mid-30s, but people say that I look younger, which I'll take that for as long as I can, right? It's not a bad thing. But I started out in politics in 2008 when I was a junior or senior in high school. And I was an intern on Barack Obama's campaign and in Kansas City. And I started out in politics because I was born with a pre-existing disease, a genetic illness, no fault of my own. It's not something that was environmental or caused by diet or anything like that. It was just I was unlucky and was born with this genetic disease. And so prior to Obamacare being passed, insurance companies could discriminate against people that had illnesses.
Pre-existing.
And not only charge them more, but just not allow them to get insurance at all. It was kind of a cruel system. And I think it is. Yeah. And that's one of the most popular things about the Affordable Care Act, right? Like people don't love that it's expensive or, you know, that it hasn't really, I don't think it was rolled out the right way. I don't think that they just kind of like left it up to all these different states to do it, and they had all these insurance companies pulling out of different markets. And but I don't think it was really set up appropriately, and that's part of the reason why it's failed a lot of people. But the one good thing that really did come out of it was that people like me could get insurance. So for that reason, I felt sort of a debt of gratitude to the Democratic Party, and it was my first campaign that I worked on, and subsequently he also got elected, and he actually delivered on my number one issue. So that's a rare thing to happen. And so I ended up working in Democratic politics for over a decade, off and on. I eventually made my way to campaign fundraising, and I worked as a finance director for U.S. House and Senate candidates all over the country. So people who were running for U.S. Senate and U.S. House. I also worked on some Soros-backed DA races in 2020. And, you know, it was sort of around that time that I first started feeling disillusioned with the party. And I was feeling like maybe the work that I was doing wasn't good. And but sort of kept those thoughts to myself and pushed them down, and kind of went through this whole I mean, it's almost like leaving a religion in a way, you know, when I spent all my time too around other people that were doing the same thing as me, and we're kind of just echoing each other all the time. And, you know, and so it's almost sort of like brainwashing in a way.
Yeah.
But I had to sort of push those thoughts down and to the side, and just keep focusing on my work. And it's a hard thing to break away from as well when it's your only industry and it's all your experience, and it can be very scary. And I finally got a break in 2022 when I have a 2.5-year-old, and I had my son. And and it took some time off. It took 4 or 5 solid months off, and then I came back towards the end of the cycle and finished out with the campaigns that I was working on. But then I decided to take more time off because he was just too awesome, and I never really saw myself as somebody that would do that, you know, before I had a child. But it changes. I don't know if you guys have kids, but
I do. I just got a baby girl last summer.
Yeah. So everything changes. Everything changes. And having that time with him really gave me the space to sort of process everything that I went through in the Democratic Party, and just realize, because I was able to sort of get out of it and have some space, and then sort of observe them from the outside instead of from the inside. And I saw, I'm originally from Missouri. And my family are people that for a long time have voted for Democrats. I'm from a mostly union family. I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, I'm from a mostly union family, construction workers, carpenters, and, they are people that voted for Obama and voted for Democrats for a long time, but since Trump has come along, have gotten redder and redder and redder. And I didn't really understand why. And last summer I went to the DNC, and it all kind of hit me at once. The Democrats have become the party of the elite. They've become the party of the college educated only. They have become the party of money. And just of being out of touch with the normal everyday experience. And so I think after I went to the DNC, I'd gone there to see if I could reconnect myself. I was networking. I had a job offer with like a major Democratic organization that I was considering taking. And I went to that DNC and was incredibly disappointed with what I saw there, and went home and I posted a video on TikTok and I told everyone how I felt. It got millions of views, and then that's sort of what propelled me into now going on Matt Gaetz show, and I've written some articles for Newsweek and the Free Press, and the video struck a nerve, and since then I've just continued to tell people the truth.
Wow. Well, I will tell you this. I mean, I had a very similar experience in terms of I currently have a blue collar job as well. I work in public infrastructure, and I've been a member of a union for going on 10 years. And over the last 2 years, like my awakening came in like the Afghanistan rollout, the disastrous withdrawal. Like I'd already had issues with the administration around like when they turned Title VII and Title IX inside out, and essentially made every like private space for women immediately and dreadfully unsafe.
Yeah.
Like I had already had my issues going in, but then when I read a piece from George Packer where it's called Biden's Saigon or something like that, where he basically just lays out like all of the betrayals, all of the callousness, the way that the administration seemed to relish in doing this withdrawal as badly as they did. Like they seemed to enjoy it, and it was in that I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I wrote a post on Twitter and said, listen, this was like the beginning of 2023. I said, I'm done. I cannot support this. And I end up going viral myself, and I made a lot of my former Democrats angry. And it's real, right?
It's sad. It's sad how when and it kind of similar. Some of the things that happened to me. I was also a Democrat for my first probably 15, 17 years of my adult life.
It's so crazy. All three of us.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I was pretty vocal on social media. Prior to that, big Obama supporter. I was like a Bernie supporter, 2016. Yeah. I was really excited about Bernie. And I still agree with some things from the left, like the universal health care or something like that, making it much more affordable. Obviously, no pre-existing condition type things. I'm 100% behind that, because it is.
That's my line.
Same here. Like,
it's so obnoxiously expensive, and it's so inflated, the prices. Like, it's so corrupt. Between the hospital pricing for things, between the universities. How much it costs for these doctors to get, or just anybody, doctors, nurses, but especially doctors, to get their degrees, how long they're there for, how much it costs. So they have to inflate the prices for that.
I think there's even caps on doctors.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They have like a cap on the amount of doctors that can like receive degrees every year.
Really?
Which to me is, it's like you're like, why would you make it more easy for people to become doctors? You know what I mean? Especially in AI, like obviously
that's a thing.
Pretty sure.
It's so corrupt. And then obviously with the pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, it's just like corruption all around. So that needs to be really overhauled. But anyways, I was, I'm not exactly sure when I switched over completely. I've hated wokeness for a long time though. Like even as a Democrat, I've hated wokeness in like all its forms, even probably in like the 2000s and stuff like that, like excesses of like intersectional feminism, or like stuff like, even though this is more of like a Me Too thing, like believe all women and stuff. It's like that's silly. Like, I'm not saying don't believe all women either, but it's like you're saying some women don't lie about things. Like, it's just that kind of stuff.
It's like you're asking people to defy human nature. I remember when Me Too happened, I felt the same thing, and I couldn't say this to anybody. I felt like it just got so extreme. I remember I went on this date with this guy. This is when I was single, and I went on this date with this guy from Tinder, and this was in 2017, and he asked me if he could give me a kiss. And I was like, ew, I am so turned off right now. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm so turned off. Like, you do not look at me and ask for my permission to kiss. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be something you just sort of feel with somebody, right?
Exactly.
And it just, and he looked at me and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of scared because of all of this stuff that I'm seeing in the press right now. Like, I am scared. I don't want to offend you. I don't want you to accuse me of anything. And it was that moment when I was like, whoa, something is seriously fucked up right now. If this nice guy is this scared and is
I mean, all that stuff,
I saw that
like how it affects like the gender dynamics or the dating dynamics, I should say. And then like, you know, where the men are afraid and the women are afraid because they're maybe taking women's studies or gender studies where they're telling you all men are rapists, all men are predators. 1 out of 4 women are sexually assaulted. When sexual assault for them in these like kind of schools and stuff means, oh, somebody gave you unwanted attention or they may stare at you too long, which is uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable and nobody likes it, but it's like, is that sexual assault? Should that be in the same category as rape or molestation or something? No, there's degrees to it. So like there's that. And then, you know, just top of that, like to telling women that, like, you know, I'm sure you've heard this or felt this attitude, like, you know, you shouldn't be a mother. Like, that's like, or marriage is a patriarchal oppression. You know, and it's like, you don't want to have kids. It'll affect your career. It's like, how do you know that? Like, you know, and I feel like most women and men even, but most women, when they have children, they realize like, wow, this is super important. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I didn't get a transgender affirming care when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it's like, that's the kind of stuff that's driven me crazy and made me like probably around 2020 was really when I was totally done. But I think I was probably around 2018, 19. I was probably like, I can't take this shit anymore. Like, I'd rather just be with the Republicans at this point because I just can't stand it.
You can't. I mean, I'm gonna show y'all something. Okay, I'm gonna show you this because for me, like, I'm like Nose here. I always had my issue with the far left, even when I was, you know, what was a full blown Democrat, right? I hated but I always hated the left. I always hated the left.
Interesting.
And I knew something was going wrong when I saw this headline back about 7-8 years ago.
You know, Pocahontas in the background.
Straight when I saw this right here.
Oh, I saw this.
Oh,
I remember this.
There's so many headlines like this.
Black men are the white people of black people.
Yes,
it's just revolting. It really is.
That's really like as a because again in woke black Twitter, okay, shit like that is shit like that is what kind of shows how enlightened you are. Okay. Yeah. Because remember, it's a virtue signal. Like, look at who wrote this. Damon Young. A fucking man wrote this. A black man wrote this. And it's telling people like how are like when we are what I hated about that particular dynamic. One, it made dating very, very weird. Okay, like dynamics like this absolutely destroy dating dynamics. And the second thing is, even your basic interaction between men, like platonic interactions between men and women, get really, really weird.
Right.
And then black men, strangely enough, get put on the back burner. The one thing that I figured out with intersectional feminism and all these different spaces that I've navigated, like I've dated like women who work at DEI. Black men in certain leftist spaces are treated the way that they wish they could treat white men.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sort of. Keep going.
Well, what they do is, so everyone knows, with leftism, with intersectionality, the great Satan to them is the heterosexual Christian white male.
Straight white male, yeah.
Straight white male. Straight, white and male is stale, like you hear that.
Yeah.
black men are like in leftist circles, they don't know what to do with us. Okay, I'm talking leftists. I'm talking about the furthest of the far left, and well, even now with mainstream Dems, they never know what to do with black men.
Yeah,
and so heterosexual black men automatically get put in the same category as white men because, well, we're men.
Right.
And so what they do is
it's all socially enforced by women. By the way,
socially enforced.
It is
by
absolutely
women.
It's true.
Yeah. And I've never in my life up until about 2015, 2016, I had never seen this before.
Yeah.
Like black people like infighting, like, you know, with that. It's leftism is weird. The Democratic Party is just gone. Like that whole whatever that coalition was
in 2008, it's gone. It's gone to Trump.
It's gone.
Do you think that this explains, Isaiah, like some of the fracture that we've seen amongst black men and how they've switched, especially this past? So you think it has to do a lot with this wokeness and DEI and
I think a lot of the anti-male sentiment of one thing. I think it's very prominent, or has been very prominent for probably 8 to 10 years now at least. I mean, and they also like wokeness. I don't like black men that I've known, and I've known quite a bit. I used to go to like all black school almost in high school, inner city school, like 70% black people. So and I know a lot of them still. Had a lot of friends since then. They don't like to be told what they could say and can't say, which I don't think anybody really does. But black men definitely don't want to be told that. Black men and Latino men too, by the way.
Yeah.
Black people, we have a very inappropriate sense of humor. We like to make jokes about races, make jokes about gender jokes. So you name it.
So do I, and I feel like I've never
do, probably.
I've never been. Well, I actually think a lot of white women are awful. Like really bad, like the worst. I'm telling you, especially in like lefty circles.
Yeah, I'd say in the left, yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, I've always kind of gotten in trouble and been in trouble, even when I was working in the Democratic Party, just for things that I've said and jokes that I've made and refusing to apologize. And
hold on,
that's mad based, Evan. Damn. Like,
yeah, really.
Even in those circles, I'm not apologizing.
Even in those circles.
Hold on, Evan.
That's mad based.
What jokes did you tell?
Yeah, we might have to.
Lay one on us. Come on.
I can't remember okay, I don't remember exact jokes, but I remember one time I was having a conversation with another consultant, and it was about a U.S. Senate candidate that we were working with, or maybe it's U.S. House. I don't remember. It was some candidate that was running for some federal office, and she was a black woman. And then we were also working with a white man at the same time. And the black woman was running in a race where she just, it was a very uphill battle. It had nothing to do with her gender or her skin color. It was just the dynamics of the state. I'm trying to tell you the story without giving too much away because I signed NDAs with people. But the state basically wasn't a winnable seat. Okay. And then the white guy was running in a seat that was more winnable. And we had this major donor that gave her $500 and then gave the white guy $2,900, which at that time was the federal max out. I remember all the donors were up and all the consultants were up in arms about this difference, and they were calling the donor racist and all of these different things. And I didn't particularly like the donor that much, but I was like, guys, we can't say that this is racism when these two candidates are running in completely different states. They're completely different races. One is a very uphill battle, and the other one is actually winnable. Maybe he's just donating based on the effectiveness of his dollar, and if he thinks he's actually going to be wasting his money on if this race is winnable or not. And so I would say things like that all the time and it would get me in trouble. And
look at you introducing nuance.
But it was bad, you guys, because at the same time, I know, right? But at the same time, I would also have this constant pressure on a daily basis to say things like, "Oh, white men suck," or you know what I mean? Because I'm a white woman. And I wanted to be able to differentiate myself in those circles from white men. Does that make sense? Because they were the most demonized. So I kind of wanted to sort of join everybody else who was oppressed, right? Oppressed, like within the, you know, and so I wanted to join them and be like, I'm a woman, see, like I'm with you. So I
Right,
would
yeah.
find myself saying these things about white men, even though I felt bad about it afterwards, and it never really felt right. And I remember like one of my colleagues that was in the room with me, you know, that sometimes when they would just be openly insulting white men with white men in the room, and the white men would just sort of like sheepishly sit there and just
That's
take
sad.
it. And I remember feeling bad about it, but
That is
and
terrible.
it was terrible.
That's really sad. And it's like when you see like headlines like Isaiah just shared, you know, imagine talking about in 2025 or whatever, even recent times, like using some of the headlines they use about like white people and white men, but saying black men instead, or Latino people. It's like, we need to talk white men, you know, like, the white people are the worst people on earth. Like there's like headlines like that. And it's like on like Huffington Post or NPR or something. It's like editorials. I'm like, how is this approved? And I don't give a shit who it's about, what race it's about. Like, how is this approved? This is like so hostile, racially hostile. It's like, and here's the thing, like when you do that, then white people see it, especially like white conservatives or whoever, and they're like, oh, I guess we're just allowed to just talk shit about races again. I guess we're back at it. I guess we're not going to be worried about being civil anymore. I guess this is what we're doing. And then that inflames racial tensions, gets people resentful towards each other. Like, well, I guess I'm going to say stuff about black people then. I'm going to say stuff about Latino people. And it's just like, it's almost like it's done by design. Like to be like, see, racists are still here. They're still racist. You know what I mean? It's like provoking. It's like a bait and switch or something.
Well, I always felt like in the Democratic Party, a lot of the people there really liked this sort of thing. Not just because I know that they claim it's because they want equality and they want equity and they want people to, you know, have a seat at the table or whatever. But I actually think it's because a lot of them really benefit within the party from these sort of dynamics. Like you have a lot of consultants whose, you know, contracts are basically given to them where they're saying to people like, oh, don't you want to hire a person of color for this job? Or don't you want to hire a woman? Or don't you want to hire a gay person? Right. And so they're able to use that to sort of bully people into giving them contracts. And it like allows them to sort of have an edge, if that makes sense. And then I think the donors are okay with it, because the donors' lives are so comfortable and they're kind of like removed from reality in a way. And a lot of them live in places like New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles. And so to them, it's like, yeah, let's focus on these social justice issues. And let's not ever talk about the things that are really materially impacting people's lives. And also, if we don't talk about those things, it's not a threat to me or my wealth or my influence. If that makes sense.
So we're going through something like that with here in New York City with bike lanes.
Interesting.
What I mean is, so we've got with bike lanes and all of like quote unquote protected bike lanes and this weird hyper focus on quote unquote road dieting and all this stuff. It's like the main proponents, especially with congestion pricing. I know you've probably heard about this. What they did was, for those who don't know what this whole congestion pricing thing is, the state of New York took half of Manhattan, the southern half of Manhattan, from 60th Street down to the end of the island, and turned it into what they call a congestion relief zone. If you go inside the congestion relief zone, right, you have to pay a $9 toll. Yeah.
Whoa. I used to live in New York, so I actually drove in Manhattan, believe it or not, and I could not imagine. Is it just taken off of, like, is it something that you put on your car that sort of tracks, or how do they even enforce it?
So it's a couple of ways. One, if you have an Easy Pass, they'll take which is the thing they stick in the windshield. They'll take the $9 off of that. But if you have a plate, like if you don't have an Easy Pass, like you'll just get your plate flashed, and they'll send you they'll send you the bill in the fucking mail.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that everyone, like 2/3 of New Yorkers hated this, right? 2/3 of New Yorkers absolutely did not want congestion pricing. The ones who forced this shit through are affluent leftists who are no offense, they're all white. Most of them are white.
They're women.
Those damn white people.
No, they're affluent. They're white.
Yeah.
They're leftist. It's a mix of men and women. A lot of it. But the other thing I've noticed is a lot of the more vocal people about congestion pricing are all out of state.
What?
Dead serious. There's one guy. I'll show you if you're interested. It's one guy who is quite nasty and quite vocal about congestion pricing. Fucking guy lives in Richmond, Virginia. I'm dead serious.
Oh, that's right. You showed me.
Yeah. So it's the point is the Democratic Party, these progressives have completely abandoned anything that would help the middle class whatsoever.
Right.
Okay. Congestion pricing and bike lanes and because what they do is they've shrunken the roads.
Mm-hmm.
They've shrunken the roads. They've created the congestion artificially. Because you remember, I don't know when the last time you were in New York, but remember like Fifth Avenue was like 5 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, I do.
Right? For example, like 8th Avenue going uptown. 8th Avenue was like 4 or 5 lanes of car traffic, right? Of travel traffic. Now it's 2.
Oh my God.
In certain places it's 2. And what they'll do is they have a bike lane, then they have a fuck around lane where people can I mean it. It's a fuck around lane where people can like walk around, and they'll have like little, they have like the little tables and chairs and stuff on Broadway. This is no joke. Broadway.
Is this because of COVID? Is that part of it? Do you think ever since? Because I remember they forced a lot of the dining outside during COVID.
They did, but they're rolling it back.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is this is the stuff that local Dems have focused on, and it comes, and a lot of that stuff comes from very affluent circles, and that just proves the disconnect, because again, no one asked for this stuff.
Right.
Regular people, who go to work every day
don't want to pay $9 every time they go to fucking work, right?
Exactly. And what's worse is if you drive in from Manhattan, like if you drive in from Jersey, you get double dipped. So remember, you have the Lincoln and the
Holland. Yeah, I used to do that because I worked on a campaign in Jersey.
Yeah.
When I lived in Manhattan. So I had to do that all the time, and it sucked.
Yeah. So you get so coming into the city, you get hit with, however much it is. And then, the machine state of New York and all of its benevolence was like, okay, we're not gonna charge you 9, we'll charge you 6. And so what ends up, what started as a $15 drive into Manhattan now is 21.
That's so stupid. I mean, and you're just it's screwing over people that don't have the money. I mean, like that's the thing. It's like the people that come up with these ideas, $20 a day to them, they're like, oh well, what is that? Like that's nothing. That's right. Just like a DoorDash delivery fee or something. You know what I mean? But to regular people, $20 5 days a week, that's a lot of money. That's $400 a month.
$400 a month.
That's a car payment.
It's similar to the defund the police thing, right? Where it's like you have these people who are high up making decisions that are not going to affect them really. It's going to affect poor communities, poor people. It's like, who do you think wants police in their neighborhoods more than people who live in high crime neighborhoods?
Right.
Like, is a police really more of a danger to most people in high crime neighborhoods or the criminals? Like, what's the bigger threat?
The only people that these affluent leftists talk to are the very few, maybe 2 or 3 black people in their circle or within their activist clique.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't talk to real people,
Right.
and when they do, it's with this condescending attitude, which is like, well, we're doing you darkies a favor or something. I'm dead serious. It's so fucking condescending.
I've seen it. It's patronizing. It's infantilizing. I used to be told that I wasn't allowed to correct any person of color, or any woman of color, specifically women of color.
If I want to say 2 + 2 = 5, that's my prerogative.
And
it's your job as a white woman to spread my message.
And it was always white people telling me that, by the way. But I just noticed, yeah, it's like, to me, it was very infantilizing, and like another form of racism.
Sure.
That's actually,
and it's actual like othering too.
It's
like,
actual
there's that
racism.
one race of person. You can't criticize them. You can't talk back to them. It's like treat them like zoo animals or something. Like, don't get too close to the cage. They'll bite you. It's like, no, they're a human being, man. You can disagree with them.
Did you guys see that movie?
Lord,
Are You a Racist or whatever?
Yes, I just saw it 2-3 days, actually like 3 or 4 days ago.
Have you seen it, Isaiah?
Matt Walsh's?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it yet.
You should watch it. You'll laugh your ass off. And there's this one part in sorry, I don't want to give too much away, but at the end of it, he has this graph and he shows different people's faces. When you see a black person, you need to smile at them to let them know that you're not racist, and that you're not thinking bad thoughts about them, so that they don't feel like they're experiencing a microaggression. And it was like this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh my god, so good.
Do you remember that part?
Oh yeah. And then didn't he bring that up again with Robin DiAngelo when he talked to her later? I think he brought in like this. Oh, but you smiled at her across the hall, or maybe it was somebody else. But he was.
Yeah, he was like, thing. So you got to pay her more. You got to pay.
Yeah. It's really good. Isaiah. He's just messing with the DEI, white fragility, anti-racist type people. And it's kind of like a Borat. It's like a Borat documentary kind of thing.
Then I'm
funny. He's really I was quite impressed with like his improvisational skills. He's actually pretty funny, Matt Walsh.
I'm gonna hunt that down, because Matt Walsh, I have an appreciation for Matt Walsh, because Matt is from Baltimore originally.
Oh, I know
cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's born and raised in Baltimore, and I'm the same thing here. So, and strangely enough, we're actually around the same age. So, wait, I think I might be older than him. I don't know. But anyways, no. Listen, he's from Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. So, there's that connection. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. Evan, so what does the future? So what are you doing now? Like,
good question.
Besides playing the drums, and you're doing your thing now.
Going on that owning the libs. Yeah. So nowadays, what am I doing? I am doing I'm writing. I write some pieces. I just actually wrote a piece for the Free Press called "When Maha Forgets the Working Class," and I am supporting RFK. I love RFK Jr. But I went to this talk when I was in DC for Trump's inauguration. And I saw this panel of people talking that were from the Maha movement, and a lot of them were like, they're like white women, and they sort of they were a little out of touch, to be honest. And just the things they were saying, like, don't use a microwave.
Well,
don't use a microwave.
I don't know what to think about that.
Don't use it, which to me is absurd, because when I grew up, I was raised by a single mom who was working a lot, and I had a lot of TV dinners when I was a little girl, and because it's my mom, that's what she had time to make, and I just
I hear you.
Working all the time, it's hard to tell people that don't have a lot of time to sit around and make all these home cooked meals that they can't use a microwave.
Yeah, I use a microwave every single day of my life, pretty much, to heat things up. It's just like I'm 40 years old now. It's like I've got cancer yet. I don't know.
So just stuff like that. But ultimately, like I say in my article, I want RFK to win, because I want him to get confirmed, obviously, because I think that making our food healthier and taking out some of these artificial dyes and seed oils and high fructose corn syrup that they don't have in Europe. That's going to do the work for working class people.
Exactly.
Like, like people like my aunt, my uncle. My uncle's still a construction worker. Like they love their Big Red soda. Like they drink it all. I don't know if you've ever had it. Big Red is awesome. I love it.
Big Red soda, like Mountain Dew Code Red.
It's like Mountain Dew, but it's red. But it's called Big Red. It's sort of a Southern thing. So if you guys are on the East Coast, okay, yeah. So, but it's got a lot of red number 40 in it. And so if RFK, it's really bad for you. But if RFK comes in, he makes that drink healthier, and he does the work for working people, then that's a good thing, And go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to say something that. Last year, when I learned that something was up with the food, it was when I went to Jamaica last year.
Yeah,
I went to Jamaica with my fiance, who is first gen Jamaican. We're getting married in July, by the way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I went down there, had a great time, but the food tastes different. The food is much different. It felt different in my stomach.
Yeah.
Like I could literally feel the difference in the food, because the food doesn't have any of the chemicals or any of the other shit that's in our food here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so to test this out, what I did was, so KFC is really big in Jamaica. Okay.
I love KFC.
Oh my God. You would love it. Evan, you would love it in Jamaica.
I'm sure.
I call it Club KFC.
Okay.
Because the lines, dead ass, the lines at these KFCs are around the block.
They got a jerk chicken option or what over there?
Yeah, isn't it like Jamaica-fied or what?
So what Jamaica did, well, the government of Jamaica, was they made a deal. They said the Yum Brands or whoever the fuck owns KFC now, or back then, we will only use our chickens grown here on the island, right?
No.
So they have, so it's called Best Dressed Chicken, I think is the company that does it.
Okay.
So the chicken tastes different. There's none of the the growth hormone, any of the other chemicals and stuff that they use to make the chickens like dinosaurs, revert back to dinosaur form. It's much like the spices and the herbs, everything they use, like they're authentic, like they're like, it's KFC, but it's authentically Jamaican, right? And it's so good. So what I did was, about a week or so after I got back to the States, I went to KFC to taste the difference. I still remembered how it tasted, and I went to a KFC around the corner from where my fiance lives. You talk about a massive disappointment. A massive, I tasted the chicken tasted different.
The additives.
And the additives, you could taste it.
Make the shelf life last longer.
Yeah.
They're probably not using chickens that are nearby, in Jamaica.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, there is a problem with our food.
Mm-hmm.
Cereals, if you go into the cereal aisle, certain cereals don't taste the same way as they did when we were kids.
Or even candy is just so sickeningly sweet here in Europe and stuff. It's different. But yeah, there's something wrong with the food, and I really hope he gets confirmed. But
I do too.
Just some of the people from that movement just are a little California mom for me, and
yeah,
you know what I mean. And so that's kind of it's a bit. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, go.
They mean well. So
I just love how anybody that's associated with Trump suddenly becomes a massive existential threat and one of the worst people on earth.
Isn't that
RFK
crazy?
Jr., Tulsi, they're just all gonna, if any of them get confirmed, it's just the country's done.
What's wild is that 10 or 15 years ago, eating healthy, organic foods, non-GMO, all of that was very lefty coded.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Michelle Obama was going on television with her PSAs talking about eating vegetables.
Yeah.
She grew a garden. She was known for having her own vegetable garden at the White House. What the fuck happened to these people?
I
Well,
remember.
it's because of Trump. It's because they just hate Donald Trump so much that they're willing to completely give up all of those prior values.
Like, have you ever seen like this bad case of oppositional defiant disorder?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah, I
I
think-
work with kids
yeah.
like that.
So now here's real quick. I want to play this because this is the other reason why I want RFK Jr. to go in, because the level of screeching from U.S. senators at this man
Yeah, it was
absolutely horrible. Like with this.
Financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Health. Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
what a bitch.
Evan, your thoughts on that?
I mean, Jesus. I remember when I actually watched that live, and I remember thinking, that's exactly what she's doing. She is trying to get him to say that he's not going to sue pharmaceutical companies. And how can she expect him to say that he's not going to compensate himself for his time if he does decide to sue them? He's an attorney. Okay, so the question wasn't even fair. She was basically trying to get him to agree to not hold them to any standards or repercussions if once he gets into office and he discovers that it's worse than we even know. Yeah. So it was just an upset. And I never in my life did I think I was going to see Elizabeth Warren carrying water for Big Pharma, which is exactly what she was doing in that clip.
Look, Evan, hey, I want to say something. Like on this podcast, we have a motto: believe all indigenous women. Okay. So
oh my God.
So never doubt the integrity of Pocahontas.
Didn't she lie on an application to give herself an advantage?
Yes, she did.
That's why she has that nickname.
She did.
Pocahontas.
That just like, what a disgraceful display that was. I've never in my life, I'm serious, never in my life did I ever expect to see just this total, like, this public rejection of every single value that Democrats once stood for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you thought that was bad, when she ran outside to talk to the press, Senator Elizabeth Warren was even worse. Watch.
His answers are he intends to continue to make money off his anti-vax position. Look, he says he won't go to work for drug companies because the American people have a right to know that the decisions made while he is Secretary of HHS are only for the good of the American people. And yet, he wants to keep a piece of the action on every one of these anti-vax lawsuits. And what that means potentially is, as Secretary of HHS, he can make those lawsuits a whole lot more profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccine.
Are you worried that he's in the position to serve his own interest?
That is the problem. He has said he will protect his right to make money off the position of Secretary of HHS.
That is not what he said.
That's not what he said at all. And if that's the question that she wanted to ask, why didn't she make that clear? Why did she couple that with his ability to sue vaccine companies or to hold them to account. And if she's so worried about him bankrupting them, well, then that's kind of saying that she thinks that they might be doing something wrong to begin with. Because if you're so concerned with bankruption, like that doesn't happen unless he goes to court and a jury or a judge finds reason that they should be sued to bankruptcy. So if she's not worried about that, if there's no, if the science is always right, as some of the other senators said, then what's the problem?
Yeah, that's quite a thing to say.
This is a lady. This is a senator who's basically responsible for the founding of the consumer. What is it? The CFPB, Consumer Finance Protection Board.
Yes.
This woman made her mark in the public sphere as like that passionate lady who would make sure that customers, that people who spend their money wouldn't get shaken down by these big bad corporations. And you mean to tell me that with RFK Jr., who comes from Democrat royalty, a family of Democrat royalty, just because he went to Trump after Kamala Harris rejected him.
You know,
you kicked him out. Where the fuck was this guy gonna go?
You had nowhere to use him. You know what I mean? Like, let him campaign for you a little bit. Like nothing to offer him.
Well, that's the thing about the Democratic Party. They don't want those kinds of voters. They want very specific types of voters that match their moral framework and view of the world. And, I really think that a lot of it's fucked up, but I think
it's very stupid, right? Because like you need every vote, like if you want to win an election.
Yeah, they've disenfranchised a lot of people that should be natural leftists. Maha people are naturally to the left, right? I mean, we talked like 10 years ago, these were like lefty sort of values and ideas. And yeah, I mean, the Democrats don't want those kinds of voters. They only want voters that, that fit their worldview. And I think that they're kind of elitist in the sense that they resent RFK because he doesn't have a medical degree or he's not a scientist or something. And I think that Democrats are very sort of like narrow in their focus about truth and what is real. And they look at people that have, PhDs or the expertise, right? The right bona fides to give them this information. They're very bought into that. And so for somebody like RFK to come along, he's very passionate about this and he's an attorney and, he doesn't, like you said, he comes from a Democratic royalty. He doesn't need the money, right? He's just concerned about children and he's met a lot of people who have had bad experiences with vaccines. And so he's just asking questions about them, right? And that is just so offensive to even dare ask a question is like committing a major sin within the Democratic Party. And this is what they do. Like, they don't want those kinds of voters. They don't want people that don't just fit into their tiny little framework of how they think the world should be. And I also think that there's resentment because, and especially we haven't talked about Bernie yet, but Bernie Sanders, he could have been in the exact spot that RFK is in right now. Bernie Sanders ran in 2016 and 2020. He was screwed by the party both times. He should have ran as an independent. He should have bucked the system and ran as an independent. And he might have been able to work with Donald Trump and become the Health and Human Services Secretary, which is, I think, the job he probably would have wanted other than president. And so I think that there is some jealousy and some resentment that they were looking at RFK the last 2 years like he was a nut job. That's how they treated him. They wrote him off. They wrote his supporters off. And now he's been successful and he's built this incredibly powerful movement, the kind of movement that Bernie and Warren always wanted to have.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to be in a position to do the work that they always said that they wanted to do.
Well,
And meanwhile, real quick, the experts that show disdain for RFK Jr. are the same people who can't even tell you what a woman is. So,
right.
Follow the science. Yeah.
Follow the science.
Trust the science.
Yeah. That's how you end up with this.
Hello, my name is Admiral Rachel Levine, and I have the honor of being the Assistant Secretary for Health at the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride. Happy Summer of Pride.
The whole summer. Why we have a summer of like veterans, like thinking about veterans.
Okay, what does that person identify as? Can somebody? Do you guys even know?
Fucking
Mrs.
train
Doubtfire.
A fucking train. Yeah. Admiral Doubtfire.
Admiral Doubtfire.
Is it a they? I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know. I think
that
it's
is
a she. I guess.
No, that's.
Shut up.
That is Richard. I'm sorry.
Did you just dead name on this podcast?
I did.
Also, did they say their name was Avril Lavigne?
Admiral. Let me tell you something. Well, Admiral, Richard, Rachel, whatever that guy was the assistant director of Health and Human Services.
I know.
In the Biden administration.
So crazy.
And the thing, following the science, which is the religious aspect, which is the science is the religion. It's the credentialism that's the religion. The appeal to expertise, the appeal to authority. It's like I'll never forget when Ketanji Brown Jackson, the ultimate fucking theater kid, when she goes. When she in her Supreme Court confirmation, and who was that fucking Marsha Blackburn was like what is a woman? And the first thing she and I don't know, like that's what.
I think Isaiah's freezing over here.
He was on a roll. I'm sad.
Is he freezing, Evan, for you?
Yeah, he's frozen, and he was on a roll.
You're freezing, but Isaiah, you're freezing. But no, I'll finish Isaiah's thought for him. When they asked her Ketanji Brown, Jackson Brown, like, what is a woman, and she wouldn't answer that. It's like, it's an adult human female. Like, why can't you answer this? Just answer just answer it. We know what a woman is. We know what a woman was for the last. Ever since there's human language. Since there's human language, there's a word for man and a word for woman. There's no extra word. There's no extra word that's like, okay, that's the third sex. So we know what this word means. Isaiah's still going. He's still cooking.
He's still going. I don't know if he knows that we can't hear him. Yeah.
Isaiah, you're breaking up a lot, man. You got hit by a breaking up, man. I think the Chinese Communist Party are breaking you up a little bit.
Got hit with congestion pricing, maybe.
He's
getting censored.
They're breaking up your signal here, Isaiah.
No. I don't know.
There he is. Okay. Now I can hear you now.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You were in the digital health for a little bit there, man. I think Xi Jinping got you.
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh. It's Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. Oh, that I found out on that Chinese TikTok, the new one, that you can't call Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh. Like, they'll censor your shit.
I think TikTok's probably the same with that. He's very strict about that, I heard.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, I think the what I was trying to get out before was that I think the problem with the Democratic Party is they don't want anybody who's actually serious about what it is that they believe. You could say whatever you want about RFK, right? You could say he's a hack, you could say he's a quack, or a little crazy or whatever. But the bottom line is, you cannot argue with the fact that that man is very much sincere in his beliefs about wanting to take care of children and wanting to make this country healthier, because you can't have a functioning society if the food is trash, and or poison. You're not getting the nutrients you need. And no one is asking questions about that. And I think that's the problem. Like guys like people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who started their careers, who their entire brands in the Senate are looking out for people's, whatever. That no longer applies to them. And so they see this. I mean, Elizabeth Warren alone, I think, took like what, $5 million in donations from the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
Like that. It's like their authenticity is gone. So all they're doing is they're running on what they used to be, instead of being what they actually are.
Yeah, I mean, they're suddenly the party of the corporations, pharmaceutical companies, and the corporate media that they own. That's the party that they are, and it's like, boy, do I remember different left when I was growing up.
Same.
Or at least what they said they were.
Same. I've never.
And if they're not that anymore, then what are they for? Like, what good are they if they're
identity politics?
They're just identity politics and protecting
and abortion,
rich people, super rich people,
and
abortion. Oh, speaking of which, did you see? You said you were at the DNC convention, right, Evan?
Yeah, the DNC.
Did you see the abortion trailer out there?
Well, I didn't see it, but my friend who was there, I met this girl when I was there who was working for this news organization. And so they actually sent her into the bus to report on it. And she told me that there was a bus for the abortions and there was a bus next to it, or a van next to it, that was for the vasectomies. And then there was
those guys don't need vasectomies.
I mean, it's true. They're not getting laid.
Oh no, they got such low T they don't even got any swimmers anymore.
But then
their nuts haven't even descended.
or they're all on Lupron.
Yeah,
they're all. But so she said that there was a taco truck next to. This is the crazy thing. There's a taco truck next to the vasectomy van, but you could. She wanted to get the tacos because it said free tacos. She's like, "Cool, free tacos," and she goes,
"Free tacos with your abortion."
To ask for the tacos, and they were like, "Sorry, only if you get the procedure can you have the tacos."
Oh.
Oh, so the only
That's
beef.
Crazy.
So the only beef that goes into the taco is yours.
They just really want.
I mean, like, come on, like they what the fuck? Oh my god!
So was that tacos with an abortion or just tacos with vasectomy?
Just for the vasectomy. I don't think you got anything if you got the abortion, and it's just completely fucked up. And I remember when I was in there, I had heard about this bus, and my friend saw it and everything, and I was asking other people about it, other people I knew from working with them in the party, and I was like, "Did you guys hear about this abortion bus? Like, what do you think about this?" And they were in complete denial. They were saying, "Oh, that's just right-wing propaganda. That's not real. There is no abortion bus.
It's parked out front." I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Well, it was a little bit down. It was. So they have a secure parameter around the DNC that was for Secret Service. So it wasn't directly in front. It was down the road, kind of out of view, but it was close. It was within a mile of the United Center, and there were videos and pictures. And I mean, they just thought it was completely made up by X, and that's what they were saying inside. They're like, "Oh, that's not real." I'm like, "What? I saw a video of it. No, that's not real. It's not real." So
talk about deplorable, man. I mean, I'm like, I know, there's reasons to get abortions and stuff, but like, camp one of those right outside of your convention, like, I don't know, man. That's kind of it's important.
It's the experience. I mean, every woman that I know who's ever had to go through that has been completely traumatized afterwards. Truly.
And it's so sickening when you see like the left, like usually women on the left, but just people on the left, like celebrating and like twerking and dancing about it. Or they have shirts that say like, what's that girl who wrote the Girls? Lena Dunham. And she's like, there's a quote from her. You can look this up where she said, "I wish I had an abortion so I out of solidarity for other women who had an abortion." It's like, I don't think any woman wishes she could have an abortion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in that situation, and that's should be a very difficult choice. I don't think anybody feels good afterwards about it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like it's just crazy. Like, that's one of the things that, like, I think really turns people off. It is like, you know, just celebrating it. You know, like, and twerking and dancing and jumping on cars and all this shit, and then throwing it outside the convention like it's like a party, like it's like a photo booth in a party or something.
The craziest thing that I want to say this: the craziest thing that I saw inside the convention was I saw a non-binary Muslim prayer room inside the convention, which, like. Have you guys ever met any non-binary Muslims that are
That's crazy.
Oh my God. Anyways.
Who is that for? Who is that for?
Exactly. Who was that for? Because if you're I think I don't know a ton about Islam, but I think I know enough to know that if you're practicing enough that you have to pray throughout the day, right? You're probably 5 times a day. You're probably not going to be they them.
No.
I don't think so. You're more likely to see like a two-spirit indigenous person walk in there.
Yeah. So
well, Evan, I want to thank you. Are you good or?
Oh yeah, I gotta hop soon, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did. Well, let me know when because I'm really enjoying your company. You are absolutely.
You want to show?
No, I want to come back. I want to come back sometime.
Oh, we definitely love to have
absolutely.
You back. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. We had a good time.
Well, you know what? I've had a great time. I'm gonna go ahead and because
I have a 2-year-old, so he's.
Oh,
I need to.
No, you got to go, Evan. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Evan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us tonight. You have been an absolute pleasure to talk to. Please come back and.
It's been fun.
Yeah, let's do this again.
I knew it would be fun. You guys are great, so I can't wait for the next show. And
let's do another one. Yeah, let's put one on the calendar. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good night, Evan, and take care.
Evan, thanks so much for coming here.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
That was fun. That was great.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Oh my God, like could you imagine the fucking the abortion bus is parked out front. It's black. It's got personalized plates with the word Moloch on it. Like,
is that true?
No, it's not.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. There's a lot of satanic imagery embraced by the left. That's for sure.
Well,
Hollywood and everything, the music industry. It's like I wouldn't put it past them.
Hold on a second. I think didn't I see something about? I'm trying to remember if I saw a video of like their opening prayer. Like their invocational prayer. Where, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Well, first, before I go any further, I wanted to hold on. Let me just pull this back. Yeah, see, this right here is why they wanted no part. Is why they want no parts of Bernie. Okay, they wanted no parts of Bernie because of this. Whoops, wrong one.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies; it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh no! I thought that would no.
I'm not a millionaire, billionaire
like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives. Not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
2020. In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical. You were the single largest
because I had
receiver. In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the single,
not a nickel from corporate.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from work.
just an absolutely iconic moment. And I'm not getting audio, dude. I can't hear you. There we go.
Yeah, you hear me? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I can hear you now.
Something must have got loose in there. Yeah, man. No, I was gonna say, you see how red he got, man? At the end there?
Whoa.
Oh no.
Like
no. He got real embarrassed.
Well,
he's not used to people talking back to him. He's not used to people morally dominate him there. It's like he always feels like he has the moral high ground.
Well, that's honestly how these senators have been operating this whole time. It's like they're used to, like they're used to this air of superiority.
But especially him, because he's Mr. I'm the working class socialist guy. I don't take a dime from anybody. And he just got called out in his bullshit big time there in a way that I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that before.
He's acted like he's fucking Ron Paul with a hammer and sickle tatted on his ass.
Yeah.
That's what that's what Bernie Sanders, that's been his whole fucking brand. Like everybody thinks like he's like this. Because remember that whole Ron Paul revolution, like years, like back in like about 10, 15 years ago?
Yep.
Like the same ones who went to Ron Paul went to support Bernie. But again, the difference between Ron Paul and Bernie is Bernie's got a hammer and sickle like branded on him somewhere. Like that fucking guy, like you know how Karen Bass, when she was with Los Venceremos brigade or whatever, how she used to go to Cuba every 6 fucking months.
Oh yeah.
Bernie used to vacation in the
Moscow,
Soviet
right?
Union.
Yeah, Moscow. Yeah, in the Soviet Union. I think he used to. I think he visited Cuba, or used to talk about how great Cuba's education system or medical system is, and he does love some of these communists for sure.
I don't, but you notice how so many of these like the mainstream Democrats seem to have like communist, like they've been like I guess they've been flirting around with communists over the last. Karen Bass was with Venceremos Brigade in the 70s. Bernie Sanders used to hang out in the Soviet Union. Tim Walz Tampon fucking Tim. That asshole taught in China. He was
He's
like
probably a fucking agent, man.
Oh my God, he probably is. I mean, but then again, I would imagine most white men who live in Minnesota, who live in Minneapolis, probably are. That fucking state. Like I'm sorry, like there are just some places in America, in the United States right now, where you could smell the communism. Portland, Oregon, and Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota.
Is that where they have? That's where the that squad girl is. What's her name again?
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar. So they have like a huge Muslim population there, or something.
Huge Somali population.
Why so many Somalis? What happened?
I don't know. Same thing as Dearborn, Michigan. I mean, Dearborn, Michigan apparently has quite a large Islamic population.
Like they must have a huge population there, because like I don't know who the hell would vote for her otherwise over there. Like I guess I'd see it in Portland, but I'm like in the Midwest, the hell's she getting voted in for in the Midwest? I think she's like racist against white people and she's anti-Semitic and like she's
married her brother.
She's woke as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is she getting voted in over and over again? It's crazy.
Well, what's funny to me is that these leftists, right, particularly of Islamic bent, they are. I'm being totally serious here.
I know. I'm just laughing because like I think we talked about this before. It's like the LGBTQ.
They're pretending
for Hamas.
But understand something.
Two things don't go together, guys. Sorry.
They are pretending. The Islamists, the people who are is like your Keith Ellisons, your Ilhan Omars, your Rashida Tlaibs, all of them, they are pretending to be leftists. A great many of them, they are pretending to be leftists because, just like what happened in Iran, communists helped communists helped the Ayatollahs in the hopes that they would get to be in power, and then the Muslims took over and ended up throwing the commies off a fucking roof. That is, there's a reason why I've
useful idiots.
Yeah, there's a reason why I've referred to Islam as paleo-communism, because they share a lot of, because radical Islam shares a lot of like totalitarian tendencies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
With
100%.
Which is why they're so easy. Communists get suckered in real quick by a lot of Muslim groups. That's what's happening. You want to know where that's happening right now? Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening in Europe. It's happening in Canada. Like, it's real shit that's going on right now.
Probably to a degree in New York too, right? Like Columbia and stuff. Imagine there's some a big Muslim contingent along with like the kids over there, or it was at least like during the protests, Hamas protests.
You got city council members that have been given money to like 3 major like a lot of the leftist groups appear. One's called Samidoun, like SAMIDOUN, and then there's another one called Within Our Lifetime. Like those are the 2 big ones that have been that have put together all of the free Palestine marches and shit.
Ugh.
They've got so much money coming in from the Middle East. It's not even funny.
From Qatar, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's Qatari money. I think some is Qatari, but I know it's coming from a lot of other places.
Qatari money's coming. They're putting a lot of money into universities, right, as well, I believe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Iran's putting a lot of money into it as well.
Yeah. So let's see. What else have we got to get to tonight?
Let's see. Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about.
A lot of excitement with Evan coming through. That was exciting. That was good.
Yeah, man.
First guest.
Yes. She thank you.
What an honor.
Again.
What an honor for Evan Barker coming through.
Yes.
First guest of the pod.
And also real
friend of the pod, Evan Barker.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me tell you something. This is only our 3rd show. Me and Nos here. We already have 2,540 people who are currently who either are watching us right now or have been watching us. And I want to say thank you ever so much to all of you for stopping in and seeing us. I love you guys. Thank you all for your support, for dropping in. And I just want to, one of the things that I want to do is as this thing grows is I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that that this show lives in continuous gratitude for the audience that we have. So with all of my heart, and I think I can speak for my boy Nos here, thank you so much for being here.
100%. Thank you guys for spending time with us. It's really really humbling.
And I'm gonna say this, Nos, shout out to you, because you really on a personal note, like you really helped to calm me down a little bit. I was really nervous about this show coming
I was a little nervous too. I was nervous.
Yeah. So, but yeah, bro. Thank you so much for helping me to calm down a bit so we can get this thing rolling.
I got confidence in you, brother. You'll be fine. We'll get through it.
Yeah, we are.
And this is all live, so live things happen. Technical difficulties, it's just live.
Yeah,
that's part of the game.
I wanna get into a little bit of drama that happened. I want to get into a little drama. Oh, that was what I was supposed to do. Ooh, okay. So actually, hold on a second. I would like to get into something very, very important, and I'm going to set it up. This is something that happened earlier this week, because as most of you know, those of you who watch, who have followed me for any amount of time, I am an anti-communist. Communism has killed over 120 million people within the last 140 years. Okay, And that's that is 120 million that we know of.
Hey, man, communism has never been tried yet. What are you talking about?
Real
communism has never been tried.
Real communism has never been tried. Well, no, that's because, the reason why they say that, other than the fact that they're fucking retards, is the fact that communism is the end result. It's the end goal. Communism is the end, but socialism is the means by which they're supposed to get to the end. Okay? And so the socialism is where all the enslavement, the murders, the cracking down of free speech, the end of private property, like all of that stuff comes from, is in the whole package of socialism. Okay? So it's in that understanding that I have kind of, as someone who despises communism and always will, I despise all denominations of the cult of the state. Okay? Like socialism, fascism, whatever you want. I hate it all. I hate it all. Okay? I am taking the president of Argentina, Javier Milei's approach. And I want to play this because honestly, I think that this video here properly encapsulates why the left is so lost. Listen.
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
Pero ¿me podés definir zurdo de mierda? Que no
Todos
lo
los que, digamos, los colectivistas, los que ponen, digamos, o sea, esa idea... A ver,
¿Por qué le pones de mierda, digamos?
Porque son una mierda. O sea,
vos mezclás...
pero es que si pensás distinto te van a aniquilar. Ese es el punto. Es decir, vos al zurdo no le podés dar un milímetro, porque le das un milímetro y lo toma para destrozarte. Es decir, vos no podés negociar con el zurdo. No se negocia. No se negocia con esa mierda, no se negocia porque te van a llevar puesto. Si tienen un golpeador que caga trompadas a la mujer, digamos, si es de ellos, ¿me entendés? Se pone el pañuelito verde y grita todo el tiempo contra el neoliberalismo, lo ocultan. ¿Me entendés? O sea, si de repente hay alguien que acosó a un periodista que acosa a otra periodista, lo ocultan. Es decir, a todos los de ellos lo ocultan. Todas esas aberraciones la ocultan. Ahora, si vos estás del otro lado, a vos te van a estropear, te van a matar, te van a dar con lo que sea. No les importa arruinarte la vida. ¿Por qué? Porque no pensás como ellos. Y ¿sabes qué es lo bueno de todo esto? Hay algo bueno en todo esto. Porque como el error es humano, como todos nos podemos equivocar, ¿sabes qué nos obligan? Nos obligan a ser mejores. Y como estamos siendo tan mejores que ellos, como los estamos aplastando en la batalla cultural, los estamos pasando de arriba, porque no solo le ganamos en lo productivo, somos superiores moralmente, somos superiores estéticamente, somos mejores en todo. Y les duele, les duele. Entonces, como no pueden pelear con las herramientas legítimas, se apalancan en el aparato represivo del Estado, poniendo torres de guita para hacernos mierda. Y aún así no pueden, tuvieron que bajar la nota, ¿me entendés?
And you know, when you listen to that and watch it with the subtitle for those who don't speak Spanish, take into consideration the last 4 years. They had the Democratic Party really did, as I said in my opening monologue, they had everything. I think we really have to pay attention to that. The Democratic Party had all the institutions. They still own the colleges and the universities. They have most of corporate media. They had offices set up at Facebook, and at Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like we are talking about a political party that managed to create a complete and total machine state. Dems did that. And their great political enemy, who is, again, Donald Trump. They knew they couldn't defeat him on the merits. They can't defeat most Republicans these days on the merits, because it's like they know, it's like how do I put this? The Democratic Party really does operate these days like a cargo cult. I never thought I'd say this before in my life. They operate as a cult. They do not have, they believe in their own moral superiority. They believe that the science is settled, which is a ridiculous, which is an oxymoronic statement. They don't believe, they believe that narrative is more important than truth. And everything that they've thrown out there over the last several years, with all the money and with all the power and with all the stuff that they have leveled against the people, they still lost the election. And they've got a lot more to lose. Nos, what do you, I really want to hear your concerns, because you've got a lot to say about this stuff, and I really want to know, like, I want to pick your brain about this. Why do you think that is?
Why do I think what is exactly, Isaiah?
How was it possible for a political entity,
for them to lose with all the influence they had,
with everything
that they were still able to lose,
with everything that these people had? Control of the media, control of social media, control of streaming platforms like YouTube and Twitch. How were they able to lose everything?
Well, I think the deepest mean thing is the truth isn't on their side anymore, and it hasn't been for a while. But they're able to suppress that with like you said, like censoring voices that disagree with them, what do you call it? Throttling accounts or shadow banning accounts, or getting people fired, or saying, by saying, you're a racist or a sexist or a transphobe or whatever, Islamophobe or something, if you disagree with them ever about anything on those topics. They figure out ways to make people, destroy reputations and intimidate people to keep their mouth shut and not disagree with them. But like after a while, you can only do that for so long before somebody, before people realize like they're just kind of bullying people, and they're not willing to, they're basically totalitarians. They're not willing to let people talk. They're not willing to let people have free speech, free thinking. They're just they just use just like kind of totalitarian communists and socialists and fascists ways of just intimidating people to be quiet and to stay in line and listen to the truth that we say, the only truth, the only opinion. So I think that's a big part of it. I think the other major part of it is independent media. So I think there's been a backlash from independent media, which they can't control anymore. So they can control most of corporate media. The only exception is like Fox News, but they control they can control corporate media, but corporate media is getting less and less relevant. And you have the people like Joe Rogan out there, who's like, he's actually a liberal usually most of the time, but he's got some right-wing points of views. He's probably more of a moderate, I'd say, but he's just been really discussing with wokeness over the last, I don't know, since 2014, 15, probably at least. He's one of the first guys to platform like Jordan Peterson. And then he platformed some of the guys like, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, and you name Matt Walsh, Brett Weinstein, all these different people, James Lindsay, Peter Boghossian, Helen, what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Helen Pluckrose.
Oh, yes, Helen Pluckrose. Sorry, Helen. All these different people. These kind of people came out, the trigonometry guys that came out against wokeness, and he helped raise all of their profiles, and also like a lot of his comedian friends. I mean, the wokeness is an enemy of comedy too, right? Because although it's helped comedy a lot in a lot of ways because it's made, you know, as Joe and the guys will say, it's like wokeness has made comedy dangerous again, which makes it exciting. More people want to hear people tell the truth because they're not allowed to tell the truth. They'll get fired. So all of this helped, you know, the fact that the truth isn't really on their side. They're just getting more and more unhinged in their bubble and totalitarian in their bubble. And then on top of that, the independent media has totally started to dominate the corporate media. I think that's the main two reasons why Trump was able to win this time. It also, you know, Trump is Trump, so it's a good and a bad thing for him. Like he has like a lot of unforced errors. I think personally, like a lot of times probably doesn't have to say certain things, just don't really help anything. But then again, people do like when he does say certain things that are like, you know, a big middle finger to the elites, to the woke. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I don't need to listen to what you have to say to me. I'll make whatever jokes I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then he almost got killed, which I think really gave him a big emotional boost. Then the Democrats obviously didn't, even with like the corporate media just constantly working as propaganda for them. How, you know, people, you can't hide the fact that a guy's senile and Joe Biden, like, but they tried to hide it for years and pretend like he's great until the last minute. And then they just forced Kamala Harris down your throat, who's a DEI hire, literally. It's not a derogatory thing to say. It's just literally true.
Not at all.
And it's nothing racist or sexist or anything like that. It's just true. Why is it true? Because Joe Biden said that I want my vice president to be a woman of color. That's a DEI hire.
Yes, it is.
That's a DEI hire. So anyway, so doing that, then having her right afterwards and pretending like she's like the next Obama or something, and she's so great and everybody loves her. It's like, no, they don't love her. She was about like 1% of the vote in the primaries in the past. Like she didn't suddenly get that popular out of nowhere. It's horseshit. You guys are like, people get tired of being lied to, tired of having opinions forced on their throat that they have to believe or else.
Yeah.
All these things I think came together where it's like everybody, and then the last thing I'll say also is I think there's a backlash from men and from males, people who value masculinity, who they're like tired of being told what to like, what not to like, having their art kind of destroyed and neutered, like having like their favorite characters, having like their sex or turning them gay or turning them trans or turning them to a woman or turning them to like a different race than they really are in like Marvel movies, or like making Lord of the Rings like some kind of weird woke thing and destroying Star Wars from, you know, it's like, and then it's being told in gaming. I'm not a gamer, but I know gaming, the gaming world has been totally dominated by this stuff, and they're just sick of that.
Oh God, it's horrible.
Yeah, and
it's horrible.
It's like all these things compound, and people are like, you know, like Evan was saying, how it's okay to just talk shit about men and white men, but not just white men too in general. Just men are shit. I see this all the time, man. Wouldn't the world be better if there was no men? What are men good for? It's like, what are you talking about? You know, it's like, this is a sign that people haven't been taught history. Like men have built like every city, every infrastructure, built, engineered, mined the materials, you name it. You know, men did quite a bit of important things, invented almost everything. You know, it's just like, how dare you say something like that? And that's not to say women aren't important. Women are extremely important. I mean, men die for women. You know,
yes,
like
we
it's
will.
like society, we have many times, and we will. Like it's actually a given that men are supposed to die for women when it comes down to it. Like that's like, you know, men and women, women and children on the lifeboats first. And that's another thing that pissed me off about like feminism, saying like, oh, it's just an oppressive. It's like if it was just an oppressive patriarchy where like, you know, men always rule and women don't, it's like, then it would be the other way around. Men would just be like, well, okay, yeah, women, you're gonna have to die because we're stronger than you. It's like, no, like all these things are just horseshit, right?
Yeah.
And they're pitting men and women against each other, and in an unhealthy way, when men and women need to work together. Like we're in it together. So all these things I think came together where finally, you know, men I think came out in droves to be like just a big middle finger, even if they don't like Trump that much, big middle finger to that. And I think that's what you saw. And like now we're seeing like a kind of a reemergence of like masculinity, a little common sense. And, you know, I don't think toxic masculinity. I think just common sense, like wisdom that we know as men, like, you know, you can't just have open borders. You can't just let, you know, you don't need to have like you don't have just criminals running wild. You know, like men should be allowed, you're supposed to have free speech. You're allowed to make jokes. Like it's like humor is very important for like lubricating relationships and making and lowering the temperature on things and breaking up tensions. Like, and if you're like nobody's allowed to joke, then it's like things get miserable and angry and resentful. So it's like all these things. It's very complicated, but all these things I think came together where it's like Trump was going to be, or Republican was going to be president regardless. I feel like, you know.
I think what pisses me off, and like, because I was not a big fan of Trump. I hated Trump at one point in my my life, and I couldn't really articulate why. I mean, everything that I said, like you know, you on your Facebook page, and you get like your they show you your memories, and then you see memories of like 2016 old posts. You're like,
super lefty posts,
yeah. That's I've been going through that a bit, and when I looked at and then I look at those, and then I take into consideration the last several years, where the party that I supported basically became this berserker, this dysregulated, this angry elitist party that cared nothing for the middle class, that cared nothing, like all of the things that they had a reputation for, they just threw it away. They threw it away. It's like, I'm going to show you one of the most stark examples. Like, this is, hold on, I'm going to try to find it here. Because, you know what? I can't find it yet. This party has not learned anything.
Yeah, we had some good clips, man.
We've got some great clips, and I like, oh my god, like how does this asshole, how does this look at this? How does that become the Democrat Party vice chair? How does that become the Democrat Party vice chair? Seriously. Someone, like, I need answers for this. Do you, like, how is it? Hold on a second, because I'm like,
and his main thing is like anti-Second Amendment, isn't that like his main thing too?
Yeah.
It's like, of all people, and it's like, you know, they're so they're just totally irrational, because it's like, you think you're living in like a fascist Hitler Nazi regime. You don't want, now you want to have you still want to take away people's guns? You know, if that's what you think, Democrat.
It's a direction you can fuck.
Is The Rock. No, I mean, like, that's you know, you have, if you really think, if like they don't their actions don't match their beliefs, that like, oh my god, it's Hitler for 4 years at least, he's not gonna leave office, and it's just gonna be Hitler until he's dead. And it's like, if that's the case, you better probably shut up about that Second Amendment, like, and removing it. It's like, you guys, maybe there's going to be, if you really think that in reality, like, maybe you're going to have to use your guns one day against the government. But it doesn't seem like they really believe that. They're still going to be going with this guy who's going to be probably talking about that quite a bit still. It's like that's his pet project or whatever.
Just crazy. Yeah. If we were in such a fascist, at the precipice of fascism, do you really think the Democrats be doing this shit? I'll go with it.
Reminds me of those dumbass fucking nurses during the COVID, doing the fucking TikTok dances.
Yeah,
it's like cornballs, man. It's like, oh, I can't say that shit. But I mean, again, it's like you said, it's like, you know, we're living under Hitler, we're living under the fascists, but fuck it, let's have a big dance party. You know, it's like maybe strategize a way to win, guys, because like obviously, you know, you think it's a big existential threat, but just have a dance party. Let's have fun.
Right.
Let's have fun.
And that's after, that's after they, you know, because they've learned absolutely, because again, this is a fascist dictatorship. Yeah. Here's the Democratic Party's new this is their priority right here.
The rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the result
this is the equivalent of Caligula nominating his force for the Senate.
Are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must
elect a horse.
We must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
The things they focus on, man.
Accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates. We conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules. To do this, our process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week. But I hope you will see that in practice it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed
off. It's a direction you can fuck.
Can't stand that shit.
Jesus Christ, man. Like imagine like look at the effort it took probably to write that, and then for him to read it. And it's just like, use that effort towards like doing actual work that helps somebody.
Yeah.
Instead of being like doing fucking gender math. You know, it's like, we gotta have 1 male, 1 female, and 1/3 non-binary person for everything we do. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like how does this leave the room? How does this leave like the brainstorming room? How does anybody read that and no, we're not gonna, if there's an actual adult in the room, like they claim to be, I would just be like, what do we do? What the fuck is this? We have like so much important things to deal with. Orange Hitler's in the White House. We're not going to talk about this. Throw that in the garbage.
Yeah.
Throw that right in the garbage. How about we do some actual policy?
They don't want to do policy.
How about we figure out where we fucked up? How about we listen to people, listen to our critics for a second?
They don't want to listen to nobody. They don't want to, like, I have never seen such an obstinate political party in my life. Like, guys, like Dems, seriously. You elected a mosquito for vice chair. This inoffensive white male shit, after years of muling black women out there, you trot black women out there to push your agenda, and then the first thing you do as soon as you lost, you have nothing, you have nothing, you don't know what you're doing, you have no plan, you have no goals, and then you let that thing become your vice chair. And the new president of the DNC. Oh, that guy's a fucking train wreck. Hold on, I'm trying to find something on him right now.
Yeah, I don't think I know this guy.
What's that?
I don't think I know this guy. I probably don't want to know him either, but let's see him.
Yeah, hold on. I think his name is Ken Martin. His name is Ken Martin. If you want to hold on,
Ken, like as in Ken doll.
Ken,
as in sackless, genderless Ken doll.
Yeah. Dickless. Dickless. He don't even have balls. Yeah, he don't even have a shaft. No shaft. All of it's gone. The whole fucking thing. It's been inverted. But yeah, this guy Ken. Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find this video of Ken Martin. Hold on. Bear with me a second. Ken Martin. Yeah, I'm trying to find this video. Oh, here we go. Yeah. This is what the fuck they just elected. This is what they just elected. You ready for this?
Oh fuck! I don't know.
Here we go. Open wide.
Oh fucking Christ! I was right. I was right with the Ken doll thing, huh?
They picked the most inoffensive fucking white guy like on the face of the planet.
I don't think you pay me enough to do that. Yeah, honestly, like it would just make me so pissed. Like it's like one of those things, like a soul rape. You know, like having to do something corny like that.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
It's like, ugh, what a fucking puppet.
They've learned nothing.
A eunuch.
They've learned nothing. Yes, a eunuch.
A complete eunuch.
Like a self-deprecating, inoffensive white guy who shrinks himself down. That's why they love David Hogg. David, again, it's like it's this whole thing about like men, like you bring in these nominally masculine men who will shrink themselves so that women can shine over top. It's like I'm going to shrink myself so that these people can take over, and if they want to trample all over me, they can. If there's one thing that's pissed me off over the last several years, it is this learned fucking helplessness. It's like the more the Democratic Party has been feminized, okay, this learned helplessness, this weakness that's expected almost of males in the Democratic Party. Like it's either if you're heterosexual, they want they really, like I said, they don't know what to do with heterosexual men in the Democratic Party unless you are just weak and easily led around. They just don't. They don't know. They don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because men would stick up for themselves, man. I mean, in those situations, like when they're, a real man with some kind of backbone would be, if they're sitting there just talking shit about white men and all the time, or men in general, I'd be like, well, wait a second, like, why are you being sexist? Like, why are you being, racist? Like, it's, qualify this. Like, why do you think that's civil? Why do you think that's a good thing to do in the office?
Yeah.
Working's like, what would you do if we said the same thing about another race of people or about women?
Exactly.
And like that's what a real man would do. Anybody with backbone, or a real woman with backbone, if it was whatever the situation was switched. But these men are just, like you said, like they shrink themselves in a freaking submissive position. Like they laugh at the jokes probably. Yeah, men do suck. Men are weak.
Well,
women, we do need strong women. Strong women will do a much better job than any man would do. It's like this is not like logical.
Lying asshole. You don't even believe it.
It's like, how could you? And it's like, no, look, a woman might do a good job, but it depends on the woman. That's what it depends. It depends on individuals. Until then, it's like, prove it. Like, get people to support you. Get people to come out. Like freaking the woman from Italy, Meloni. What's her name? Is that her name? Meloni? Giorgia Meloni. Giorgia Meloni. She's a freaking strong woman who gives great speeches, very compelling. It's like, be one of those women, and then you can be, then people believe in you and vote for you. Men will vote for you. But
exactly.
It's like, but if you're like, you don't just get to be president because you're a woman or a black woman or a gay woman or a trans woman.
Those days are over.
That's how the Democrats are nowadays. They're just like, well, who's like the most famous trans woman? And it's like, and the men will just sit there, yeah, we need to have more of that. It's like, no, we don't need more of that. We need just anybody who's a good leader, who has the best ideas, who can bring people together, anybody of any identity. That's it. And we'll see who that is. Let them compete.
They don't believe in...
That's America. That's meritocracy.
They don't believe in competition. These people don't
Their
believe
identity
in competition. Their identity
it's
first.
It's so backwards.
And unfortunately,
meritocracy,
when you're willing to care, the thing is, that heat map meme where like all the shows. I forget the proper wording for it, but it's like these people are so preoccupied with what other people think of them. That's the biggest problem I find with the Democratic Party. But you know who's a real man?
Except they don't. They're not preoccupied at all with what their critics think of them, or they don't. They just won't listen to it.
They won't listen.
If you don't listen to your critics, you can't learn, man.
Exactly.
You don't listen to people who give you feedback, even if you don't like it. Sometimes everybody who's a human being has heard feedback they don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But frequently the feedback is right? Frequently, maybe not always, but frequently it is. And you got to like be, okay, well, some people see me that way, then, or at least somebody does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to change this about me. Maybe I need to change that about me. But they do not have that in them at all, man. Like at whatsoever. I mean, I'm trying to think of one Democrat who's really, maybe James Carville, kind of. I think he's an old school Democrat, so he at least talks shit about wokeness and says, he's been consistently doing that, but he keeps his mouth shut at election time.
Exactly.
As soon as because he doesn't want to rock the boat. So yeah, he's kind of shrinking himself. I'd be saying that shit the whole time.
Exactly. But you know who's
he's older. He's older. Man? And he doesn't want to get kicked out by the cool kids.
Yeah, exactly. Older. I think isn't he like 80 something now?
He's getting old, man. Yeah, he was Clinton's guy. So Clinton's old as hell.
Yeah, Clinton. Yeah, Clinton is
Bill Clinton. Yeah.
But you know who's a real fucking man? Who's a man?
David Hyde.
Yeah, if you're a fucking mosquito. No. JD Vance.
Yeah,
that's a real man right there, dude.
Yeah, man.
Look.
From rags to riches, man.
Exactly.
He's had a real tough go, and that's another thing. I think it's what a lot of white people get pissed about of hearing white privilege and stuff like that. Not all white people are privileged, man. A lot of white people live in these poor, especially Appalachia areas and stuff, where it's just everybody's on drugs and everybody's alcoholic. They're poor, some of the poorest people in America. And that's the kind of stuff where they see that, and it doesn't have to be that extreme. It just be like middle class Detroit or something, or middle class white areas in the Midwest, flyover country. Nobody gives a shit about them, and they're constantly being battered over the head. White privilege, and it's and always talking about every other identity besides white people or white men. Yeah. And it's why would they vote for that? It's like you guys just are specifically admitting that you don't give a fuck about us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of black Democrats are feeling that way, even though they get all the lip service because they see it for themselves. Like with in Chicago especially.
Wow.
Seeing all the immigrants come in and getting everything paid for, and they're just like, oh, you guys don't have money to help us with resources though.
You talk about a political awakening. Oh my God. But I bring up JD Vance because he actually said something. He stepped to Hakeem Jeffries tonight.
That's the worst.
Yeah, Timu Barack Obama, and honestly,
it almost seems like a Timu Cory Booker.
well, Cory Booker
was a Timu Barack Obama.
No, Cory Booker is the Timu Cory Booker. Okay,
Jesus,
that fucking guy.
That's actually one of the worst insults you can give somebody.
He's that fucking guy, bro. I remember when I was a Democrat, when
drives me nuts.
When I was a more fervent Democrat, I swear to God, I thought the world of him. And now I just look at him and like, dude, but anyways,
I've always been put off by him. I always felt he was just kind of like a fake Obama trying to be super inspirational with his over the top, and he just doesn't have it like Obama does. Obama can still give a good speech, I'm sure.
I don't know about that.
I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, the thing is, you can't do a good speech if you. I actually didn't see his speech in the DNC. I didn't feel like watching it really, but if you can't give a great speech if the truth's not on your side. That's the thing.
You have no idea how badly he pissed off a lot of black men. He pissed off Obama.
Do you have stories? Do you have personal stories of that, like in your own life? Because that's interesting.
I mean, not personally. I've seen a lot of videos that were shared online.
Okay, what did you see there?
I'll have to look for them.
Because I would assume black men have seen that, and I've seen some too. I've seen some conservative black guys talking about like just being offended that he said that and making like hanging Obama for that.
I know.
But it's like, how are you gonna say that? Like, hey, you better vote for her because you're black and she's like a black woman and she's like your mother or whatever. It's like what kind of shit is that, man?
So I'm now the reason why I brought JD Vance up, because I don't want to get too far away from this. I bring JD Vance up because Hakeem Jeffries threatened to basically fight President Trump's agenda in the streets. So I'm guessing Congressman Jeffries wants to go full communist. Mind you, we've already been fighting these people in the streets here in New York with all these free Palestine protests, but that's besides the point. JD Vance, vice president, was on with Maria Bartiromo this morning and had this to say about that.
Remind me sometimes of the folks that were still fighting World War II in an isolated island like 30 years later. The American people have spoken. They are sick of the ridiculous performative politics. They want Americans, their leadership, Democrats and Republicans, to come together and actually get some things done. You don't have to agree with us on everything. Of course, if you're a Democrat, I'm sure you're going to vote a lot against what we're trying to do. But for Hakeem Jeffries to go out and say that you need to fight in the streets, it's dangerous, it's disgraceful rhetoric, and it's not at all what the American people ask. I think if you went to Hakeem Jeffries' district and took the people that voted against President Trump, not even the people who voted for him, the people who voted against President Trump, do you want a congressional Democratic leadership that fights in the streets or that makes your life better? Most people think the government exists to make their life better, not show up on TV, criticize the president, and not actually get anything done.
Absolutely.
Remind me sometimes of the folks that were still fighting World War II.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget that more than half the country voted for Trump. So like, and it's like only been like week 2. So I think we're not. I mean, if you want to fight, like, yeah, do your job in the Senate and then and politically and try to create better arguments, but also like wait 4 years to vote, man. I mean, like it gets like you're not going to do anything right now with that. Like, what do you mean take to the streets? So you do overthrow the president or something? Like it sounds like what they criticize the Republicans and Trump for January 6th.
Exactly.
I don't understand what you're going to do right now with that. It's just yeah, he just got voted in, saving democracy. We're protecting democracy. We value democracy. Well, fucking shut up and
you ain't protect shit.
Yeah,
you ain't protect shit. Okay,
let the people have spoken, man. Accept it.
Yeah. Go.
You can debate.
Go do this. Yeah, go do this a little bit more, Democrats. Go ahead. Go do that.
In the cap, do your job in the Capitol. But like, what are you gonna do? Try to start a revolution 3 weeks into the president's administration? It's like, I don't even, that's just, oh, good Lord, man. It's just virtue signaling,
That's all they're going to do. That's their revolution.
Dancing in the street, man. Frivolous.
Matter of fact, do you remember, I remember when they had, they used to do interpretive dance in the streets. And
at COVID, they did that, I think.
It was during COVID.
Yeah, let's see if you can find. If you want to find, I'm gonna go take a leak real quick, brother.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So I'm gonna find that actually. Let me see. BLM protests. Interpretive dance. Because. Oh, this is shit they're doing now. Oh my God. Fuck. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, that this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. This shit was years ago. Yeah, so I look at it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, sorry. The Democratic Party just really has nothing to offer. They have nothing to offer men. They have nothing to offer black men. I've been fighting this thing for years now. But any political party that would refer to you as the straight, as the white people of black people. Like that's not fair. That's not fair. Like, that's not right. Black people, black men are the most incarcerated demographic in the United States. Black men have the lowest education percentage in terms of college in the United States. I have never understood the left's constant badgering of black men, of heterosexual black men, as if our vote, as if we are supposed to be so obsessed with the people's standpoint, with seeing everyone else's needs before our own. We're supposed to constantly give of ourselves without any consideration for our political needs and for our political priorities. You know what my political priorities are? I want clean air, clean water, healthy food. I want my streets, my neighborhood to be safe. Okay? I don't want the knuckleheads in my neighborhood coming in and robbing my shit. Okay? I don't want nobody else's house getting broken into either. Okay? I don't understand why it is like if someone is on the train, when I'm like I ride the subway every day. I don't want to have to deal with homelessness in the subway system. These people, like the one thing I don't want to, like, I don't like seeing homeless people in the subway system. Not because I hate them. Okay, hating them has nothing to do with it. What I hate is the fact that we have people in this city who are more concerned about how much money they can make within the homelessness, within the nonprofit industrial nexus that we have here. Homeless people are simply something to make money off of. And so you have all of these homeless people. You have all these people in the subway. It's cold out. It's winter. It's 30-some, 20, it was 20-some degrees earlier today. And you've got all these homeless people. You got people begging for change. All this stuff, like begging for, for money in the subway. That's my concern. Some of these homeless people, you get them riled up enough, they'll assault train operators, conductors, station cleaners. They'll beat up they'll beat up a transit worker in the subway system. It's happened. You had an instance today. I actually saw something out in Queens Boulevard. There were not one but two people struck by a train on the Queens Boulevard line. I don't want that. Those are my concerns as a man.
You know what my concerns are, Isaiah?
What's that, bro?
My concerns are if trans prisoners are getting gender affirming care in prison or not. That's my concern. That's my main concern. I don't know. So I think me and you have just different.
Yeah, I guess so.
Different priorities.
I guess so.
I'm also, one of my concerns also is if there's got to be the same, like there's got to be a male, female, and then another gender, undisclosed gender for every fucking position on earth. That's another one of my things that I really care about.
Yeah, that's what it's you know what else I'm concerned about. I'm gonna play this real quick.
I think most of America feels the same way. That's what we all care about.
Listen, I want streets without this garbage in the road. This is in the neighborhood of Greenpoint. Check this out.
I love Greenpoint.
All right, real quick. This is McGinnis Boulevard, and recently, thanks to who knows what traffic group of people, they shut it down, 60% of the road now is bike lane, and they put the car parking, and now traffic is terrible. Stand by here. See that? All the way down. You can see it. Yeah. All of this used to be you could drive when you parked here. And now there's one lane for one of the largest roads in North Brooklyn. And everybody is zigging and zagging. It's like 10 times more dangerous, and hardly anybody on the bike lane.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, man. And I mean, the bike. Why is the bike lane like the size of a fucking almost like a lane, like a car lane?
Because fuck you.
Yeah,
because fuck you.
It's like this. Like you could drive a car through that thing almost.
You could, and that's and see, that's the thing.
Like if you want to make a slight little lane, maybe see how that works. But it's like maybe make the sidewalk a little smaller. I guess I don't know, but I mean, but it's just like
you know what it is. You know what it
ridiculous.
is? It's antagonism. It is antagonization. They want to antagonize people out of their cars and get them to take public transit everywhere. But again, if the people who run this city and the state were actually concerned with the needs of the people and understood that in order to get customers to come back, you have to give them some value for their money. Maybe having a clean and hobo-free subway system would work. That way, you wouldn't have to use coercive methods like shrinking the usable road surface down to where it's next to fucking nothing. It's antagonizing. It is antagonizing. It's a bunch of affluent white leftists who control everything, and all they want to do is just hurt people. They want to hurt drivers. They want to hurt the middle class, and it's the most despicable thing I've ever seen in my life. It truly is.
Dude, you guys just take the subway with all the homeless people who make the cars smell like a porta potty mixed with ass. And then also you might want to risk getting caught on fire or somebody pushing you in front of a train, or somebody stabbing you because they got let out of jail 17 times.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
So I think we've come to the end of the show. We've been going for 3 hours. I was shooting for 3 hours.
We ran out of steam, guys.
Yeah. 2,732 people. This is the most I've ever had in any of the recordings I've done. I'm feeling a little emotional. Thank you all for your support. And starting next week, I think we'll have we'll do subscriptions, or I'll start offering subscriptions. So where you can ask us questions, we can have your questions. The end of the night will be your Q&A session. We'll take like the last 30 minutes of the show, and we'll give it to you, our viewing.
And just next weekend, whoever gets a subscription with the podcast gets a free subscription to my OnlyFans. So this is you know what? I'm feeling generous.
Oh my God. The beard. Oh God. Yes.
Visualize it. Visualize it.
Oh man. Well, anyways, thank you all for coming out and seeing us tonight.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
We will talk to you again next week. Maybe we'll have another guest, and maybe we'll go by a different name. You never know. We've been working on that too. We'll have something for you.
We're still brainstorming.
Yeah, we're still brainstorming. All right, guys. Have a great night. Peace. God bless. And enjoy your week. And let's
stay safe out there, guys.
Stay safe out there. Stay
safe
sane.
Out there. Stay safe and stay sane.
And God save the Republic.
God save the Republic.
Thank you, guys.
USA.